I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing
Hello and welcome to SDL. We currently have a big Godlike match here. We have Eclipse on your left-hand side, starting with the great player Sleepy, and then on your right-hand side you will have Sunbreakers with another great jungler that we have seen in the past get a good amount of kills on Ao Kwong. Teddy522. Joining me here is JeeringLamb, one of the best casters we have to sit in the second seat. Currently going to get some water, but probably just sat back down. How you doing, JeeringLamb?
I am refreshed and ready to roll. We got some awesome action coming up tonight. I can't wait to get this started.
I actually, funny enough, on the left-hand side of your screen, BeanSoupBob, I just had him in a range game a couple of days ago. That guy is a legend in mid lane, as far as I know, but he might not be playing mid. I don't know in this game exactly what he's doing. Jabber, on the right-hand side of your screen, is a recent pickup for Sunbreakers. I know a little bit about Jabber. Actually, funny enough, he's been a part of my fantasy football teams. But the guy is a very good player as well. Snoozism also on Sunbreakers. So this should be a really good set coming from a lot of talented players. As we know, Godlike is the highest of our SDL competitive scene. But who do you see here? And with these three picks going on right now, what are we seeing as far as the possibility of some counter picks coming from Eclipse?
I'm already seeing some pop-ups right from the get-go. The very first pick, it looks like Team Eclipse is looking to unleash hell on the battlefield immediately. And actually, they pick hell as their first pick, rocking against a Hercules and Ishtar as their retort. I'm seeing a lot of high pressure and a lot of healing on both sides already.
Yeah, healing. This is the Hope patch as of right now. Brand new. Came out just last week. Very interesting what they've done to healing as far as it goes. So it is always odd. You don't see as many Freya ADCs or magical ADCs as often because the rings are not as good and the healing for those types of things are not as good. But still, crit chance is very good, which is why you probably see a Rama get picked here as well as an Ishtar. They can do the hybrid penetration, also the crit chance build. But yes, this is a lot of healing. Hell and Guan Yu coming out from Eclipse.
And speaking of healing, I gotta point it out. The very first ban coming out on the Chaos side was Aphrodite. If you get Aphrodite and Guan Yu on the same team, that's a 1 second heal, 1 second cool down reduction on a heal, and a 1.5 second cooldown reduction on a heal. If you're applying that to the same person, you can absolutely go ham, and I am kind of terrified to see what that Guan Yu is going to end up doing with that hell. This is going to be a very scary draft to go against.
Yeah, the Kali ban as well was very interesting. That must be a target ban towards Teddy522 because I believe that they do have a good Kali. Obviously, the Ao Kwong is still open here. That's one of Teddy522's favorite picks. Not as good into big-time healers. You probably want someone with a lot of crit if you want to do that. Probably like a Mercury would be a good pick here. Or obviously the Thanatos being banned does not allow for an execute to occur here. But Snoozism really sitting on this pick for a long time, thinking really hard because this is actually a pretty big pick. You need to get a big counter to some of this healing by maybe getting some of your own healing, and that's exactly what they do by picking up this Sylvanas here.
Just like you were saying, taking a lot of time on that pick. I actually ended up snoozing on the timer for just a little bit. And I gotta point out, you talked about the Kali, you mentioned the Thanatos, but the third ban from the Eclipse in the top 3 here, Set. That is 3 jungle bans. You said you were familiar with their jungler. Clearly, Team Eclipse is familiar with their jungle as well, and does not want to see any of that happening in today.
Yeah, I would not want to see Teddy522 on almost any god, but in my opinion, they have left open. These are probably the priority picks for Teddy, besides the Owl. But the big thing is a lot of the priority gods are still open that are in the general meta right now. For example, the Mercury is still open. The Ravana is still open. The Jaw just got banned, which is obviously another priority pick. I don't know exactly what Teddy's going to be looking for now at this point, but he could easily still pick up something that could allow for some more room for his team, because that's what he needs right now is room for his team to kill these healers. Because if the healers can sustain through all the damage that a jungler will do, then the healers will just win this game. Mute point. It's not gonna. No one's gonna be able to stop him. But a Bakasura pick coming out, that probably will go directly to the jungler, and that's a good pick. It's a large AoE god that can do a lot of damage. How do you feel about that?
I think Bakasura is really, really strong right now. As we saw in the patch notes, Eat Minion got a significant buff, a massive cooldown decrease. So he's going to consume all of this XP and farm and gold, get a bunch of items, and then just regurgitate all of it right back onto you, and you will just watch in terror as your health bar disappears before your very eyes.
Bakasura, yeah. Butcher Blades is disgusting, and then obviously Regurgitate is even more disgusting if you can get... I've been seeing people build crit on Bakasura as of late, which could be a possibility here. Obviously, building penetration like a Kensai's or anything like that obviously works as well with Bakasura. He can go really anything. But BeanSoupBob picks the Merlin here, and the Anubis is being hovered by Jabber, which is a really cool pick. We would love to see that here. This will be either the second or the first week that we will see a walking Anubis in games that can do, not a walking Anubis just in general, but when he uses Lotus, he can just walk around and do whatever he wants to. So yes, we have an Anubis on the side of Sunbreakers. BeanSoupBob going with the Merlin, as I was saying, that is exactly what he played in my ranked game. So I know this pick pretty well. We ended up winning, so thank you, BeanSoupBob. Respect to that. But okay, there you go. There's your picks. We have a Anubis into the Hell, which keep in mind that if you wrap someone, Hell will be able to cleanse that. And so maybe it won't be as effective, but still, Laser is disgusting. Death Gaze is really damaging. How do you feel about this pick on the right-hand side of your screen from the Anubis? Do you think it will be good here?
Anubis is absolutely one of my favorite characters of all time, if not my highest worshiper god out of everyone in the cast.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I just made everybody hate me right there. But while Anubis may not be quite as mobile as other mages, especially somebody like Merlin, he does still have a little bit of movement speed and that Plague of Locusts now. And
Yeah.
the tick rate of the ability was doubled, with the base damage cut almost in half, meaning Anubis is doing more damage than before. He's coming at you even quicker than ever before. Not to mention, the problem is he did lose a lot of lifesteal from the recent update, but you got to keep in mind that is a lot of high pressure picks. Sunbreakers are looking to get very active and very much in your face.
That would make total sense. That's what you have to do when you're up against that many healers. But we will see you in a couple of seconds after we get right into this game, Sunbreakers versus Eclipse, and we will see you in a couple seconds.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting close, and now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on.
Hello and welcome back to this Game 1 Eclipse versus Sunbreakers. We are looking at a beautiful person named Sleepy walking to this side camp right here. This is an odd start, actually. We have a jungler from Eclipse starting on the left-hand side of the map, clearing that speed, and then moving over to the red afterwards. This is a pretty cool start that I haven't seen in my ranked games, and it looks like this is kind of the meta now, because it looks like that's what the other side exactly did as well. What do you think about this start?
It's definitely unique, and it does allow everybody to hit level 2, but it does leave that yellow buff on the ground that the jungler is not going to be able to pick up. And that is a little bit of extra utility that he's going to be missing out on. I'm not sure if I would say it's my favorite start, but it gets everybody to level 2, and if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and almost a big kill coming out here already from Snoozism, who is not snoozing on BeanSoupBob. Another thing we need to comment on, this is a Hell support. Hell can really go in 3 different locations right now: solo, mid, even I've seen her in jungle. Don't blame me, but I've seen it. But obviously support as well. Hapn is going to play this Hell in the support role. How do you feel about that?
I'm more interested in the fact that I'm actually going to see a Lonos mask here. I have not seen that item in quite some time, so I'm kind of interested to see how is that going to turn out. We've got healer versus healer in the support. We've got Hell versus that Sylvanas, but which one is going to have more pressure?
Which one's gonna have more healing? That's the other question as well, and it should be a Hell, honestly, because she does have more abilities that allow for her to heal more. And currently, pumping out a lot of damage is happening, even though she has Lono's Mask. Lono's Mask, if you don't know, is an item that will reduce the damage that you output for the fact of more of things that are more important to supports, basically, is all it does. So it makes you more of a support player. But Teddy522 is going to make the rotation onto this Lono Mask Hell and see if maybe they can get a kill, but instead we'll decide I'm going to go ahead and eat a minion here probably and get a free shield. The Anubis is obviously going to outclear the mid laner for quite a while here. When does the Merlin come online and start to actually maybe mean something? Big pool coming out there, by the way, from Master Andy there, but Divine Master Andy. Come on, Andy. No, none of this, before the name stuff, but good shell coming out from Hapn to secure a alive and well Rama ADC. Back to my point. When does the Merlin become something of an issue for an Anubis? Because it doesn't feel like it's at level 5 at all.
It may not be. Merlin gets a lot of extra power and skilling from the late game, and especially the itemization, where Anubis thrives on that early pressure and being able to bully you out of lane. Merlin really thrives once he gets those items online and can make you regret even appearing on the screen.
Big steal coming out here from TG. We'll end up stealing that buff away, and BeanSoupBob will walk in and say, God bless you, I needed that pressure on Hercules as much as I can get. Hercules, a really big pick. Looks like might be going towards the Golden Blade here, which is a high pressure soul laner throughout their early game. A good tainted steel pickup here from Guan Yu to reduce the healing that Hercules will get from almost every one of his abilities, mainly the 3 though. Just Hercules is a walking heal is what it feels like a lot of the time. Not like a walking team heal, but a walking self heal. Considering, I mean, when he hits that big club on the ground, he is going to heal half of his health if he takes enough damage sometimes. That's obviously a higher level, but good pickup by Tainted Steel right there in my opinion.
It's definitely especially good considering the fact that it's going to reduce the healing of all 5 members on the Sunbreakers. Hercules with the 3, Bakasura with the 2, Anubis, Sylvanas with the 2, and Ishtar building immediately into lifesteal, we see that tier 1 of the Bloodforge, that Spike Gauntlet gives a little bit of healing as well. So that Tainted Steel is going to go absolutely insane in the late game.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it right back to you while I do this shield camp right here. Looks like we have another 3v2. Teddy is over here in this left side of the map multiple times, about to walk in right here and possibly take a big fight against the two members of Eclipse, and will use Regurgitate to try and secure a kill, but instead will not get the kill as of right now. And a big heal coming out from Hapn that will secure the Rama's life, but not her own. Hapn will be the first blood, and sadly, a big kill coming out for Ishtar. Jabber, first time with this team, I believe. A big pickup for Sunbreakers will get the first blood this game.
It's going to be a big pickup for Jabber. Not only is that we see a kill over in the mid lane, trading 1-for-1 in a 1v2, by the way.
Yeah.
Clearly, Anubis early game is really exerting the pressure on Merlin.
Yeah, Vampiric Shroud as well being picked up by Anubis. That's a very typical item from Season 2 Anubis, Season 3 Anubis, when that item was a lot different looking in the picture. It was like a little red and blue photo kind of thing. It's a little nicer now, to be honest with you. But this was a well-known item for him, as well as, obviously, purple boots. We need to get the Magi's boots. But oh my goodness, they want the blue instead of this kill in the left lane. Eclipse is saying, we'll take the fight in the right side of the map instead. And Hapn is over here as well as support, using his heals. Cavalry Charge will come out and land directly on top of Sylvanas, will secure the kill, but too late to secure the blue buff for Eclipse. Instead, Teddy522 will go there and just eat it, which is one of the best secures in the entire game. Probably the best, because you can eat it at like a certain percentage of the health and just have it for the rest of the game, basically. I was going to bring that back around to, that was a great kill from Anubis, and if we can see more of that from Anubis throughout the rest of the game, if he gets a lead, Anubis is unstoppable. It's almost impossible to stop him. You know that probably from experience.
Yes, that I do. Once Anubis gets fed, he will continue to eat. Just like that Bakasura you see on the Sunbreakers as well, if you get enough of a lead, it just becomes so impossible to deal with it. So much damage at such an alarming rate. Plus, healing all of that damage right back makes it really difficult to deal with. So the problem that Eclipse has seen, even though they've gotten the same number of kills, they got a lot of pressure on them.
Fours up into the air right now is Storm, coming right back down to two members that have a lot of damage. Sylvanas there to make sure that that kill will go the way of Sunbreakers. So, I mean, this is now a 3-2 lead the way of Sunbreakers. Gold is not that much different. Only 6 minutes into this game, 7 minutes into this game. We've seen a lot of big team fights already. This is what Godlike does. They rotate really early in the game and start to look for really big fights. Big ultimate coming out here from Andy to land onto two members of Eclipse, as well as TG will walk in here onto EmoticonFather, who is in a bad position, but Andy is in even a worse position. Wait, oh, Sleepy is on the Merlin. BeanSoupBob is actually on the Guan Yu. I didn't even notice that. That's what I was going to throw back to you, is I saw BeanSoupBob on Guan Yu. He is a solo laner, and so what I saw him on was actually the wrong role. Teddy522 coming down to very low health here, will not escape from TG's grasp, but also EmoticonFather will secure the kill right back onto Tsukiyomi here.
It's going to be a beautiful pickup.
Big dash. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, I was holding my breath. Storm getting caught out by Jabber once again. 2-0-1. Jabber, the newcomer, already just exerting dominance over in the duo lane.
Yeah, there was no chance of the survival there coming out from Rama. Having a hard time right now. I was going to ask you about, when I was like 3 minutes ago, man. I was going to throw it back to you about the current Bloodforge start in ADC. We've always been talking about ADCs a lot this season, as well as runic bombs. We love talking about those runic bombs. We've gotten a lot of comments in our YouTube videos about why do the SDL casters love the runic bomb so much.
It's such an explosive pickup.
Oh, it is, and it's 33 gold, dude. Holy crap. Anyways, Bloodforge instead of Aussie. How do you feel about that, since the Aussie, I believe, had a little bit of nerf, right?
The one thing that I look at is Bloodforge is a massive amount of power. It does give you a little bit of attack speed now with some lifesteal, but the thing I don't like about it is that it really just is so hard to build into. It's such an expensive first item that you're really just looking at an item that either doesn't really give you a whole lot or makes you win even more. which is a problem Storm is looking at right now. Jabber has that early lead. As the newcomer, he's really making Storm look bad here.
Yeah, Storm is struggling, obviously, but Ishtar late game is really strong, but also Rama is. So ADCs right now are just a how do I call it? A bunch of crit-hungry people, because you can see that both of them are going straight into that crit branch, possibly going into the new crit item. Do you know the exact? I forgot exactly what that one's called. Gotta pull it up. Give me a second. Crit chance items.
Are you talking about the wing?
Not
Winged
Demon
Blade?
Blade. Yeah, is it Winged Blade?
Not the. Oh, you're not talking about the blade. You're talking about the actually new one. You're talking
Yeah, the one that
about Bladed
drops.
Boomerang.
Bladed Boomerang, that's the one. Yes, there's always the different ones. That's what people have been going as of recently in the first spot right here, instead of Rage, which is what we went last patch. Thank you for that name, by the way.
Always got to keep those in mind. Though what I'm looking at is this Bakasura is trying to get really active very, very early. Already chasing BeanSoupBob around. He's going on a merry-go-round here.
BeanSoupBob will just go ahead and do a cavalry charge, walk out. Sleepy finds himself in an awkward position, but instead we'll just flicker into to tower. We have 5 members of Eclipse right here in mid lane, as well as Sunbreakers. They all said it was 10 minutes into the game. Let's go ahead and group up and let's take a fight. Hapn is the first one to get almost caught out here, but instead will cleanse herself and walk out very easily. Teddy522 is in a great position to take a fight here and decides to try to go on to Hapn while his team is currently on Goldfear. Sunbreakers have it down to about half health. Hapn walking into the certain area to try and steal it, and they will let go of it. Hapn almost getting pushed here, but instead will cleanse himself, and a big damage coming out from a member of Eclipse, as Teddy522 will have to run away and get shelled by his support, Sylvanas. Now 5 members of Sunbreakers all walking away, and Eclipse is now ready to pull this Gold Fury. Only 3 members of Sunbreakers in the current area ready to steal this if need be. And Eclipse will end up securing the Gold Fury. Almost there for a second. Thought that Sunbreakers had ended up stealing that. But BeanSoupBob is now in a rough position and will get the pick on himself, sadly, because he was in a bad position with the entirety of Sunbreakers waiting and prying for a easy kill once everyone walked away. Really unlucky there for Sunbreakers. That fight did not go exactly the way they wanted to. They took a lot of damage in the early part of it.
Sunbreakers do end up coming away with a little bit of compensation. Sunbreakers didn't get the Gold Fury, but they will have a little bit of extra space to go for the Pyromancer, since they did get a kill under the Eclipse solo laner.
Man, TG's over here as well, already ready to fight again. It feels like it was just a couple seconds ago that we were at Gold Fury, and it was. This time, Eclipse will end up securing this one as well, which means they both get Gold Fury and Pyromancer. A big steal for TG, as well as Sleepy Sylvanas finds himself in a very rough position. As almost dying, Caltrops will end up securing the kill. And we have 4 team members again over here of Eclipse that they were ready to steal that Pyromancer, I guess. I don't know. Was it Tsukiyomi Ultimate that stole it?
That was actually a
Merlin one.
I don't believe the ultimate came out in time to steal it away. If I remember correctly, I think it was the Kusarigama that actually ended up getting it.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah. Because they did. Yeah, they also got stunned. That would make sense. Yeah. Because he did it right afterwards. He did the 1 and then the 2, and then yeah, that makes sense. But Big still there. That puts them up by about 1k, 12 minutes into the game, which is not that big in the Godlike games here. Yeah, there's your XP difference, 1.5, and your gold difference is essentially 800 gold. You might as well call it 1k. But Snoozism, BeanSoupBob, 2 very tanky players. BeanSoupBob now getting attacked by Teddy522. Butcher's Blade will be initiated here by Bakasura, but BeanSoupBob, very tanky, very healthy. Has, we've already talked about the big old tainted steel that he has, which will allow for a lot of anti-healing. No more anti-healing coming out just of yet by besides Divine Ruin. There's the Divine Ruin. Probably expect to see a Brawler's Beast hit come out from Tsukiyomi, which would probably be really important here. Maybe even a Contagion or a Pestilence.
I would have been rather concerned if it didn't Divine Ruin, at least at some point in this early game here. Because you're looking at an Anubis, you're looking at a Sylvanas in the mid lane. If you don't have some anti-heal for that, just the mid 2v2, let alone the 3v3 with Bakasura, you gotta watch for that healing, because it will really just ruin your day. You think you got a lot of damage, you think you pushed him under tower, nope, they're fine.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, the counter way, we have actually 0 anti-healing on the side of Sunbreakers. That might be going into a Divine Ruin right there, the Anubis, but it might also be going into the Spear of Desolation, which would also make sense for an Anubis considering cooldowns are his best friend. Like, if he can have his abilities up more often, the more he just wins games. That's how it feels, and especially with the penetration that it also brings to the table. Good pickup if that's what he ends up doing as well.
I think it'd be a little bit better to switch it with the Spare the Magus, since Magus is actually percent penetration, not flat penetration anymore. And you're not taking too many fights where you need that percent pen right now, but they certainly seem to be making it work so far.
Oh, the dog in the background. What's his name?
Oh, forgive me. Dogs are forever a pain.
They're so cute.
Currently 3 of them, trying to keep them all under wraps.
It's all good. I just heard in the background and I love dogs, so I got my dog named Daphne. She is not much of a barker though, so respect out to that. We got Jabber still in a 202 position, 2 levels above currently Storm. Gold Fury is now back on the table. This time it is an Oni Fury, which means that enhanced minions will walk down every single lane, which is really good if you want to push onto a Fire Giant. So you would get the Oni Fury and then immediately rotate over to the Fire Giant, allow the waves to push in every single lane, and then use that pressure to get Fire Giant itself. Big poke out here, but from Death Gaze will be used, but Sleepy will just go ahead and walk out of it pretty easily. Not even using her beads or Aegis. So Death Gaze down, which is a good point for Eclipse to go ahead and take this fight, because that is a big ultimate down.
Something a lot to secure, but Teddy getting active on the Storm, getting caught out once more.
Ooh, but a good peel coming out from the rest of the team of Eclipse, and now they will reinitiate right back onto Teddy 522 and Andy going down almost immediately. TG and BeanSoupBob looking right at Jabber, who is the biggest team member of Sunbreakers right now, standing alone, 2v1, Hell diving. Caltrops going down, looking for some lifesteal is Jabber, and will not get the lifesteal, but it does not matter because he is still alive, but then will not be able to walk out thanks to a big Tylo assault from BeanSoupBob. Big pickup coming from Snoozism, who is still looking to box BeanSoupBob, says, I'm not done with you from what we did in the right side of the map. Let's fight more over here. Eclipse once again pulling this Gold Fury. This time it's an Oni Fury, as I said once again. Snoozism is here and ready to steal if need be, and try to at least, but 3 members are trying to fight him out. Not a good ultimate to try to steal here. It was a little early, and Eclipse will have minions pushing down every single lane. What is Sunbreakers doing wrong here, and what can they do to better improve?
Right now, I'm looking around the map, and I don't see a whole lot of wards on the side of the Sunbreakers. There's a couple here and there, but there's not enough to catch that big of a rotation. As we've seen already, these are 2 teams that love to make early rotations and take those big objective fights to try and secure as much possible neutral farm as they can. Right now, if you don't have that vision, you don't have the knowledge. And if you don't know what's going on, you're already falling behind.
Yeah, wards win games, high-res Link used to say back in the day. This is a big time for Sunbreakers. They need to start placing these wards, as they just have placed one onto Pyromancer, as that probably is the next target, considering Oni waves are currently pushing right now down these lanes. And what I was talking about when you usually press, you do Oni Fury and then you press the Fire Giant, does not look like exactly what Eclipse wants to do right now. They're still looking for their Rama to try to get back into this game completely, who just got 2 kills, by the way, and is kind of back into it, but still a level behind currently. Both teams building almost the exact same, besides Rama is building into a kin size. Big wrap coming out from EmoticonFather, who is already down to half his health. Death Gaze will come out onto Hapn, will not secure the kill. And I asked you earlier, when does Merlin start to kill Anubis? I think that was it right there.
Triple spear build going active, but speaking of active, Jabber getting active on Storm. Storm may have caught up quite a bit in that last team fight, but Jabber upset about that, putting him back in his place. That is a bladed boomerang and a demon blade. That's a lot of crit.
A lot of crit that's doing a lot of damage. And once again, we talk about this Blood Forge, this demon blade. I mean, this entire build is just different nowadays. It feels like it's different than even last patch. A lot of enhancements that you can pick up and do. Demon blade obviously allows for you, if you hit a crit chance, one time with a basic attack, it enhances your next one. Basically, it makes you attack faster and faster and faster, and builds and builds and builds until I believe it only has 3 stacks on it total, or 1 stack or whatever it is. But same thing for Boomerang. It's once again another stacking item that allows you to pick up something and just do more. And so big rotation here though from Sunbreakers, who are looking for a fight. But oh wow, great vortex coming out from Merlin, and cavalry charge looking for Teddy522. TG will use ultimate but will not land it onto anyone, as the rest of Sunbreakers is trying to get out of this fight, as well as Eclipse says this is not our fight that we want. We're not really interested in this. Once again, Storm is back into the mid lane and ready to take this fight if need be. The entirety of Eclipse is full health and ready to take it, considering their healing is so high. Roll will not land, and Death Gaze will land straight onto Storm's head. Big regurgitate coming out, but will not secure any kills. Sunbreaker with the first blood as of right now. And Hapn getting pushed back to his entire team, and will not survive thanks to a big jabber ultimate. We saw him do this in the duo lane by himself, but instead will get a double kill here in the mid lane this time, looking for a triple kill. He is right now, and will he get it? It will be very close. He will not end up getting the triple kill, but Sleep and will actually trade back a kill right back onto Sunbreakers, who are all down to about a quarter of their health left. Hercules doing the green buff with the rest of the team, but Sleepy is still around here, ready to take a fight against 3 members, and will get a kill, trying to escape with his life, and will end up escaping with his life. But oh, EmoticonFather, BeanSoupBob is here and ready to fight again. Cavalry charge running into a wall, looking for the Anubis on the EmoticonFather, but once again, Snoozism is here and ready to peel his teammate out. But big Rama Astral Barrage will not get the kill, but BeanSoupBob will end up getting the kill with a big dash kill. Goodness gracious. Teddy522 also in a bad position. The rest of Eclipse is in the area ready for Gold Fury now at this point, and BeanSoupBob is like, I'll dive you underneath the tower because I don't want you to get this Gold Fury. What a fight coming out from both teams there. A lot of trades back and forth. Why did Eclipse come out on top here?
Eclipse ended up losing a lot of pressure, but Sunbreakers, they may have gotten a lot of kills, but they stuck around just a little bit too long, and on the retreat, they got caught lacking, and Eclipse sent them back home packing.
The one person who was seeing them lacking was for sure Sleepy. Really well done by him there to walk into 3 members of Sunbreakers and kill one of them immediately, and then have his teammate come in and secure the other kill. Good Astral Barrage coming out from Storm. You can see that the gold and XP at this point in the game, 20 minutes into the game, 1,000, basically both ways, maybe 2,000 the gold difference going the way of Eclipse. It's a weird situation here. You have more XP on the side of Sunbreakers and then more gold on the side of Eclipse. Something you usually don't see. You usually see it go both ways for both situations. You see the XP in a lead and the gold in a lead for the same team. But you know, this situation, when you get so many team fights going your way for Eclipse, you're going to get a lead in gold, no doubt, because every single kill gets you gold. Regurgitate coming out here, as well as Cavalry Charge, will allow for BeanSoupBob to escape for right now, but this tower may not escape for too much longer, as Teddy and Snoozism are over here and ready to just go and hit this 3 times. 2 members of Eclipse in the area, 3 members of Eclipse. Here comes Hapn on the Hell, ready to take the fight if need be. Teddy522 will go ahead and jump away on this Bakasira. The first member besides Jabber to hit level 20. Both members, the jungle and the ADC on Sunbreakers, have both hit level 20, which is a good thing to have on your ADC and your jungle as of right now.
Jabber really making a very strong presence this game. Like you said, already level 20. And speaking of Teddy522, you were talking about the crit on Bakasura earlier, and that's exactly what we see. Both of them, the jungle and the ADC, have Bloodforge, Bladed Boomerang, and the Bladed Demon in that exact order, actually. Though Teddy does have a Golden Blade in there.
Yeah, and is there an item that answers the crit? I think there is. I hope there is, because Spectral Armor is a good item, and I think that Hell might be going right towards it.
It would definitely be a good idea to go ahead and pick that up as early as possible. May see BeanSoupBob try to go for it, but will it be in time? Sunbreakers securing away a Pyromancer for themselves, but Eclipse looking to get active on the tier 1 tower in mid. Can they get anything more out of it, or will they be forced to back up?
What I'm surprised by is that we see a Lotus Crown coming out from the Hell, Lotus Crown, excuse me. That's the old days. Lotus Sickle coming out from the Hell. What we don't see is the Catechist Club or any kind of improvement on healing for the entirety of the team. Obviously, Sickle allows for protections to the rest of the team members that get healed. You'll see that little green circle around them right now on your screen. That's a little protection circle against. Yeah, he's zooming in. Thank you. um, they get that every single time that Hell heals. I don't see that on Guan Yu as of right now. It's more self healing with a breastplate of regrowth. Exactly what is what it's called. Which makes you faster after you heal. But I think that if you can get some more improvement on your healing, it would almost be even better for your team because right now, there's no Onk. There's no Onk coming out from actually either team.
Storm getting caught out once again. A big regurgitate, already half HP, manages to get up, but falls right back down. Aegis trying to extend his life, but Teddy will gobble him up for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, probably. I would call so like the first kill would probably be like breakfast. If he gets like a triple kill, it would be like breakfast, like what do you call it? Brunch, and then lunch, and then I almost said, and then dinner, and then dessert. We'll call like the last kill. So if Teddy 522 gets a kill this game, we'll go ahead and not call it a DSI. We'll call it a full course. But speaking of a full course, we have the Sunbreakers currently behind by 3 kills, but ready to take this Fire Giant, and they'll melt it. That's what Crit Chance will do for you.
The only one on that side of the map was BeanSoupBob, and he cannot even get close to trying to contest that. That's a crit Bakasura. Jabber has crit on the Ishtar, and you have an Anubis. If there's any team that I can think of that's going to have a lot of objective pressure, this has got to be one of them.
Yeah, basic attack galore, and especially then ability galore as well, coming from EmoticonFather and Anubis, as you just said. A lot of damage coming out from every member of every team, but like at this point, 23,000 coming out from Merlin, and then obviously we see Jabber at number 2, who is now standing here at T2 mid. Eclipse on the defense, on the back foot, trying to protect themselves. Susan will go ahead and blink in here and look for a pick, but instead will not find a pick and go down to half health as a big ultimate comes out from Andy, as well as Regurgitate coming out from Teddy522. BeanSoupBob getting pulled back in. Really good pull from Andy. 4 members of Eclipse standing underneath T2. Fire Giant healing the entirety of Sunbreakers, as well as Sylvanas is using his heal on the rest of his team. Going for a green buff is right now Jabber by accidentally dashing in. Tsukiyomi ultimate coming onto 3 members of Sunbreakers. Anubis using Death Gaze to secure the kill onto TG on the Tsukiyomi. Teddy will have to jump out here. Sunbreakers now on the back foot with 2 members of Eclipse chasing the entirety of Sunbreakers down. Eat Minion will be used here by Teddy to heal up about half of his health, it felt like. Snoozism says, don't take damage. I literally do not take damage. Let's fight right now. Hapn getting pulled twice by Sylvanas and by Hercules will secure the kill. Snoozism got another kill. I mean, 3-1 right now, looking good. Almost created a lot of chaos in the beginning of that fight right there. So Sunbreakers looking a lot better right now than they did before. They didn't get any towers there though, so no objectives.
They may not have gotten any of the objectives, and they did end up losing Fire Giant off their ADC, but it's important to keep in mind, they burned almost every single relic on the side of Eclipse. That was a beautiful display of discipline, waiting for just the right opportunity for Andy to blink in, knock up 3, and bait out beads of another with the Wrath of Terra. Then you see Teddy522 blink in around the back to drop on the back line, forcing out beads, Aegis, and Shell from everybody. You gotta watch out for that. That is a nasty combo, and Sunbreakers really showed they know their execution of it.
Yeah, Snoozism for sure is one of those ones that was able just to walk in and felt like just didn't take much damage until he was down to about half health, but then he walks back in at full health. It's scary to... speaking of Hercules, we have 3 Spectrals in the game within a snap of a finger. We have 1 on Hercules, 1 on Guan Yu, and 1 on Hell. So as we said, crit chance is big right now. And this item is literally made to counter that exact type of thing. So it's good to see it on 3 members of both teams right now.
It's definitely an unusual pickup to see on a support, but the Eclipse support is just trying to make something happen, trying to stay alive just a little bit longer. Sunbreaker is trying to get active. Fire Giant about 30 seconds away now. It's up to Eclipse to maintain the pressure and space that they have, but Sunbreakers want it back.
Yeah, Sunbreaker's in a great position here to go ahead and pull his Fire Giant, but it's going to be up in about 30 seconds here, a little more than that, maybe a little bit less than that, excuse me. But we're looking at this Bakasira. We're looking at this Hercules. I mean, these two people have initiated almost every one of these fights, and then Andy has ulted in. Sylvanas has ulted in 3 times, holding a corner. Teddy522 behind the entirety of Eclipse, ready to go in and regurgitate here if need be. Will not end up getting the kill immediately, but now will get a big 676 hit crit. Still going is Teddy on the rest of the team. TG finds himself in an awkward position against 4 members of Sunbreakers. 3 members only stand right now for Eclipse as they run it straight down. Snoozism boxing out 3 players while the rest of his team goes back to Fire Giant to go ahead and pull this. I mean, this could be a really bad situation for Eclipse, especially if this Fire Giant goes down fast enough. They probably could walk it right back down mid or back and get a lot of products. Looks like Teddy's going to go ahead and back here. Probably looking for pots now and possibly a glyph for, yes, the poisonous, the venomous glyph. Is what it's going to be for Bakasira as of right now. Really well done there by Teddy522 to find himself in a great position. Like, it was right behind the 2 carries, got both of their Aegises within an instant, and then killed one of them with a 600 hit crit. That's that Bakasira crit I'm talking about.
And it was almost 667. Almost the golden number. But it's important to keep in mind, both Teddy and Jabber have that Envenom Deathbringer. Such a toxic item slows down the damage output of the members of Eclipse, since they can so consistently put out those crit numbers. Getting hit just once could end up spelling doom for anybody who's unlucky enough to get caught in their way.
Yeah, here we go. We gotta do the caster, not the caster curse, but the caster dream, which is 2 runic bombs currently sitting on Andy. You could have 66 gold.
Let's go!
Double runic bomb.
Keep in mind, Runic Bomb selling for 33 gold means Runic Bomb is exactly the same purchase price as a ward, since those normal wards also sell for 33 gold.
Yeah, so don't ward. If you take anything from this game, don't ward. You don't need to do it. Get runic bombs instead.
It wins the games.
Imagine if they sold runic bombs in the store. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if we are going to be able to defend this left side Fenix. Jabber shooting out 500 shots at one time through his wonderful arrow. Great presence from him. 6-3 currently. Full build. Death's Temper is on him and ready to freaking crit everyone.
5 arrows at a time.
Yeah,
5
literally.
arrows at a time. My man's Robin Hood.
Yeah, he is. Andy going to go ahead and initiate this fight by blinking in, but a bad situation currently on the back foot. Oh, they were almost on the back foot there, but on the back foot was the entirety of Eclipse trying to like defend there, but they could not step up whatsoever. Bakasira is going to split push right down the right-hand side of the map with his Oni waves and regurgitate right on top of Shiji's head, who really has no answer for this besides, I'm praying for my teammates to come. And that's exactly what they did. But the rest of Sunbreakers, Runic Bomb will be laid down and get the kill. Death Gaze will come out and not get the kill as of right now. BeanSoupBob in a very rough position, only about a quarter health, excuse me. Sleepy getting pushed here by Snoozism. Snoozism is in a 1v4 situation and will not survive as well as, you know, he probably wish he would have going into a 4v1.
Definitely a successful push from the Sunbreakers. You managed to drop all 3 birds, but you'd still lose 2 members. So Eclipse has a chance to get themselves back into this game, get a lot of extra pressure for themselves, but you gotta be careful.
Ooh, Jabber getting caught out here. We were just singing praise to Jabber and the ability that he has had throughout this entire game, going 6-4 as of right now, but instead we'll go ahead and get picked here due to a lazy back as the entirety of Eclipse is chasing down one member of Sunbreakers,
Nope.
that being Andy. Rough position.
That was a 664 crit. Come on. Just let us have it. Let us have it.
Give us the 667, please.
Please.
Don't do it one number less, please. But yes, this is gonna have to be a big defense now. It doesn't matter how much they push these waves up and stuff like that, and it's still fire waves pushing down every single lane for Sunbreakers, which means that Eclipse is going to have to be on the back foot for a little while here. And do they have the defensive team with the Phoenixes? Obviously not. But if they get this kill right here, Sunbreakers put themselves in a great position just to push down and win this game if they want to. Rama, without Rama, you have no crit on your team anymore. But Teddy522 has said, I'm ready to take a fight against your Merlin as well. We'll use Eat Minion to, wow, 577. Big hit coming up from Teddy. 2 kills, and that will secure probably the Titan, I would assume. I mean, you have Death Gaze. You have Ultimate. A DC coming out from Jabber, who is currently sitting in base, but I think the rest of the members of the team think that they can end this game still. I don't think they do.
Do they
personally.
need him?
I
They
don't
have
think so.
Bakasura, you have Anubis, you have 2 members down on the Eclipse. This is still a 4v3 even without your ADC.
Yeah, I don't think they need it. BeanSoupBob trying to keep the space between the minions and the Titan, but instead it will not be much space. Death Gaze will be used here, but Tsukiyomi ult will be returned back in favor. Will hit all 4 members, but will not do anything. All it will find is the death, and a big pull coming out from Andy on to BeanSoupBob. Rama is back alive again, but it doesn't matter because of crit chance coming out from Teddy522. I was talking about that crit build. He has now said, I'm not going to focus any of these tanks. I'm going to focus the Titan. Now they're going towards the Titan. Triple kill coming out for Teddy522, as this probably will be the game going the way of Sunbreakers. The only standing member of Eclipse is Sleepy, who has been doing well in the Merlin, but not well enough. Jabber is back, got there in time. Sunbreakers will take your game number 1, and we will see you in a couple of seconds.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home.
All right, and welcome back into our little lobby here. We got a great stat sheet here coming out from multiple members, but I'm not going to talk for too much here. I'm literally going to pass it right off to you, and go ahead and point out whatever you want to see here.
There's a lot of things to look at in a game like this. There was so much going on. Both teams played really, really well. You gotta look at where the numbers are coming out. Look at the damage mitigated on Guan Yu. BeanSoupBob dropping 64, almost 65,000 mitigated. That's a lot of damage mitigated. And with 5,500 healing for his team, really kept them alive just a little bit longer. But unfortunately, Eclipse wasn't able to make it on their own. Teddy and Jabber from Sunbreakers just making sure nobody could survive. Teddy didn't have a whole lot of damage in the early game, but once that crit came on, that's 2 ADCs getting into the backline. And that much crit chance is really hard to stop. Somebody like L, who just can't hard CC the enemy enough to bring them down.
Yeah, I said it before the game really started. The crit chance is the biggest thing that's going to happen in these games right now, and you are correct. It basically was just 2 ADCs as well as an Anubis on top of that, who pumped out 27,000 damage this game. I mean, it's still 13k behind his opponent, Sleepy on the Merlin, who did the highest damage in this entire match at 41k. But really well done. As you said, warding was a question. Only 2 wards coming out from TG. And, you know, if at first it was Eclipse that was doing well at warding, I think that they may have fallen off in the end game. And I think that Sunbreakers might have picked it up a little bit, especially Jabber, who has 11 wards, placed him all the time. Probably the reason why he won his lane so well is because he could see exactly when the enemies were around the area. TG not finding himself in that area that much, because I think that it was warded almost every single second of the early game. But with that being said, we will go ahead. Sunbreakers currently lead this set 1-0, and we will be back with game number 2 of a possible, let's hope, a 3-game set.
Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit. Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is
Hello and welcome back to game number 2 of this set. We have on your left-hand side of the screen Eclipse, on your right-hand side of the screen Sunbreakers. Sunbreakers currently lead this 1-0. Last match we saw A lot of different things come out from a lot of different people as far as healing goes, as far as crit goes, different types of builds, different kinds of counter builds, of course, with the Spectrals coming out. But once again, we see the exact same bans, Aphrodite and Kali, coming out in game number 2, but the Bakasura is now banned by Eclipse, which is a smart decision.
Finally recognizing it for the threat that it is, Bakasura can get very active and he will swallow you whole if you're not careful. That crit was doing so much damage in game number 1, I don't think Eclipse had any choice but to get rid of it.
Yeah, there was there was no other option. The ban they did last time in that spot, I believe, was a Thanatos, which was a 3 jungle ban coming from Eclipse. We'll see if they do that again. But it seems like banning out, yeah, there's a set. So Teddy 522 banning him out. It seems impossible, but we have a Terra ban come out from Sunbreakers. This is looking to be a certain type of curated build or certain kind of comp coming out from Sunbreakers, because those types of bans right there, Moja and Terra, are very specific, taking away the Ishtar from Jabber this game. It looks like Eclipse says, we don't want you to have it, so we'll go ahead and take it. But Serenos will be the trade back ADC going for Jabber this time.
It could certainly be very
Oof.
aggressive if they choose to go for that, but looks like Sylvanas might just be a preferred pickup. It worked very, very well in the previous game, and Andy looked very, very good. Will they be able to pull off the same things, or will those blank ults into the backline end up going south?
This time they get... did they have Hell last game? I think it was Eclipse that had Hell last game.
Eclipse had the Hell last game.
Yeah, so they took away the Ishtar. They said, we'll take away your Hell then. And Hell does not look to be going support. Probably going to go either into mid or into solo. I mean, as I said, it can jungle, but I don't think that Teddy will do that. It would be very surprising if he did. The gank ability, or the ability to gank, excuse me, of Hell is not as much as most other junglers, especially, as I said last game, gods like Ravana have really good opportunities. It's probably one of the best gank gods in the game. Mercury is one of those as well that can sonic boom right down the lane, but because of the Sylvanas pickup, they decided to go for a Khepri this game. If crit does end up coming out for Sunbreakers again, I have learned that crit is great against Khepri. They do not sustain whatsoever, and because they have no Bacchus jump or Kabrakan big stun or anything like that, actually they have an ability that pulls them towards you. Like Khepri like grabs onto someone and like makes you basic attack them. Speaking of it, there's the Thanatos. I don't think it will go crit. I don't think it will. Probably should just go penetration. But you know, that's could be a problem for Hapn. But also, we got to talk about the good part of Khepri. Brings people back to life. So
not for long though. That's still a Thanatos.
Oh, you're right. We got to execute now. Holy crap, you're right. So yeah,
That's
a
that
big
revive.
counter.
That revive will be very, very short.
Lived, yeah. But I mean, you could, yeah. You didn't ban the Thanatos this time, so they take it. Is what happens here. Sunbreakers ends up taking it because Eclipse did not ban it. I think that a good pick here for them as well would be maybe an Achilles. They could go double. I mean, double execute is not a bad idea unless it's a Hell solo, which it obviously could be. But we still need an ADC here and possibly either a solo or a mid, depending on what's going on with the Hell as far as where she's going to go. Where do you think the Hell will end up going here? Do you think that's a mid laner?
I think it could be interesting to see Sylvanas end up in the solo lane and then have Hell in the support, just because why not?
That'd be so cool.
Have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
Bring back old mannequin Sylvanas.
Oh man, that was devastating last season. But speaking of crit chance, that is a crit goddess right there. Jing Wei is crits galore. It's like Artemis, but just on steroids. Once you press that 2 button on your keyboard or whatever it is on controller, our camera guy is iNooblet, who is a controller player. It's a button on the controller somewhere. If you press that button, you're certified crit master, basically, for at least 3 basic attacks. But then obviously if you pop someone up with your 1, or if you use your big ultimate on Jing Wei, great pick. But a counter pick in Apollo mid?
This is definitely an interesting one. Oh no, that can't be Apollo mid. They still have the Baba Yaga. That's an Apollo jungle. That's an Apollo jungle.
Oh man. Okay, well,
We are.
yeah, that's a weird comp, but okay. And then Amaterasu coming up. Let's see where these trades go real quick. We're gonna hop in this game pretty quickly because we want to see what's going to happen here. It looks like BeanSoupBob is going to be solo laner. We have Apollo, who is the jungler, was the Tsukuyomi last game. Tej and Storm is going to be the Ishtar, and Sleepy will be in mid lane with the Baba Yaga. Teddy will be the jungle on the right hand side of the screen. Andy will be going Sylvanas again, and Amaterasu solo. We have a Hell mid and a Jingwei ADC. So you kind of fit them all kind of where you expect them to be, besides the Apollo jungle. So how do you think this Apollo jungle will work out, and do you think it will work?
It's definitely got a little bit more versatility since you can get around the map a lot quicker, and you can use that global ultimate to your advantage. But the problem is the early game just feels so slow trying to get the farm up. So until you can hit that late game stage, it really doesn't feel too great. Thanatos, on the other hand, feels great in the early game and can thrive on it.
Yeah, Deathlight does a lot of damage, but let's see if Eclipse can do exactly what Sunbreakers did in the last game. Maybe double crit coming out here from a jungle and an ADC. We will see you in game number 2. Sunbreakers lead this set game 1-0 as of right now.
Your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit.
So, JeeringLamb, what is your favorite color?
I'm going to have to go with a deep navy blue as my favorite.
Well,
But
the
you?
blue team right now really needs to win this game. My favorite color would have to be green or red. I'm a big Christmas guy. Once again, this start will come out again yellow to back camp along with the blue buff. Allow your mid and soul laner to hit level 2, and then the wonderful Apollo jungle. I'll walk over here and do the red buff. What do we expect to see from Eclipse to make this game go their way?
Eclipse has some very different picks right now. They have the Capri, so they have the option of Scarab's Blessing to keep them in the fight. You have a Vamana solo, which we haven't seen in a little bit. You've got an Apollo jungle, which hasn't been around a while. You've got a lot of different picks, so the ability of them to just get absolutely explosive, especially with the Baba Yaga, you can really burst somebody down if they're not careful. So Sunbreakers gonna have to be careful. If they get caught one step out of position, it could be their last.
It could for sure be the last. EmoticonFather doing a lot of damage in the mid lane already. as the hell. A lot of changes coming to healing as of late, and Death Scythe will land right on Tegveer's head, but will not obviously kill him as of right now, but will do plenty of damage. This Ishtar now sitting on Storm. Wow, a lot of fights coming out here. Soul Lane, Snoozism, very low. Level 3 before Vamana is, though. BeanSoupBob just hit level 3. Big competitiveness, basic attack-based gods here on the right-hand side of your map. But also in mid lane, another big basic attacker currently in mid. Ooh, sing that song, Apollo, stunning 2 and walking away. Able to do that very well. Baba Yaga, you just talked about that. Oh, very close. Man, these two are just dancing with each other, aren't they? But Baba Yaga, great pick, I think, in this team fight. You're going to be looking for great, big team fights, and that's exactly what Sleepy does very well. He showed that last game with the Merlin.
And especially now that it's on Baba Yaga, she has the ability to cook up an even meaner late game. Those potions that she can brew hit really hard, especially when you consider she can stack quicker than anybody else.
Yeah, 41k or 51k, I forgot exactly what the number was, coming out. Highest damage in the last game was Sleepy on the Merlin, so I'm very excited to see exactly what happens on the Yaga. But speaking of other people on this team, we got a big rotation coming out on the left-hand side of the map. Tej is already over here, ready to fight. A big grab coming out from Hapn. Andy finding himself in a rough position where he will end up falling, sadly, to Storm, who ends up getting first blood this game. Jabber was the one who got it last game with a solo kill onto, I believe it was Storm. A good invade coming out here from Sunbreakers, though, because they saw the fact that Tej was on the left-hand side of the map. So good invade from them.
I'm starting to see something playing out here. Eclipse gets the first blood in duo lane, whereas Sunbreakers had it last game. And in game number 1, Eclipse had gotten the invade on the blue buff, but now in game 2, Sunbreakers got the invade on the blue buff.
Yeah, they're switching spots. Yeah,
in a complete reversal of roles here.
Yeah, so we were talking about this before this match started, like right before it started. This is Eclipse versus Sunbreakers, and this is what JeeringLamb called a fight in the sky, like a fight in the, what do you call it? A fight in the stars.
It is a galactic level battle here.
Yeah, literally a galactic battle, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're kind of being yin and yang, kind of just switching spots, doing exactly what the other team did. And we can see if Eclipse can do that throughout the rest of the game, because if they can do that, then they can win this match, because it's exactly what Sunbreakers did. They took that lead and they kind of kept it throughout the rest of the game. They kept it really close in the early game. It was very it was only like 1,000 gold difference. Once it hit that 25-minute mark, though, it just went all Sunbreakers, all out. So there was no more yin yang, no more being nice. They kind of just took it away. And so if Eclipse can do that this game, then they'll see themselves in a game 3 versus this team. But I won't pump you guys up too much for game 3 while we're still in game number 2. Snoozism and BeanSoupBob are doing the solo lane dance, as I like to call it, but one's a football player, which is kind of cool, and one is a sword-wielding type of samurai, which is really cool. Not what you expect out of those type of lanes.
I was definitely not expecting that. That was a pretty bright idea.
Yeah, but I mean, this matchup is a consistent beatbox type of match where you just kind of just beat each other's head in and see who can actually end up winning it. Exact same builds coming out from ADC again. We have Death's Toll going into the Bloodforge. This is very typical. Teddy 5, 2, which I don't know why I like saying his numbers, but I do. Blink will come out. Soul Reap will end up coming out as well, and Death Scythe will be a phantom hit, I believe. It doesn't look like it really did that much damage, but Storm is down to about a tiny 10th of an inch of health, and it will be a good trade coming out from Storm. Jabber almost falling in there as well, and will end up falling here thanks to the wonderful Singer in the Sky, who is coming down on to Jingwei's head, which is great kill there for Tej, and that's exactly what Apollo can do, is go from one spot to another spot within 2.5 seconds like a Tesla.
You also got to appreciate the fact that Eclipse has 2 deities of the sun here. I absolutely love that.
Where's the Tsukiyomi, bro? Yeah, where's the Nox? Give us the Nox and the Tsukiyomi onto Eclipse, and then give us Ra and all the other sun gods onto Sunbreakers. It'd be great.
Actually, that could be possible. Ra in the mid lane, Amaterasu in the solo.
Yep.
You've got Jungle Apollo, because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this could be real. Khepri in support. Speaking of Khepri support, getting active on Jabber here.
Yeah, but Jabber's not going to find any scent of death as of right now. Speaking of speaking of other gods in this game, Thanatos. But Teddy will find the scent of death of these mid camps while the rest of his team is clearing the green buff. We're looking at a bigger future team fight is kind of what this game's looking like. We're looking towards Eclipse is kind of just praying to get to that 15-20 minute mark or that 10-minute mark like it was last game, where when they got there, it was just rotate to Gold Fury and fight. That's what happened last game. And so I don't expect much different to happen here because their team can take those fights really well. Big Baby, oh my goodness. And Baba Yaga ultimate, you're going to dominate. You're going to have so much area effect damage and so much attack speed, and it's going to be so much going on in one big team fight. So what do you think that first Gold Fury needs to look like for Sunbreakers to be able to win it at all? Oh, speaking of Sunbreakers, getting picked out here is Andy. This is something we saw last game a couple of times. Landing the stun is Hapn, but will not end up securing the kill. EmoticonFather peeling out her support. Anyways, let's get to this Gold Fury, or let's get to this Big Baby while they're fighting over a totem, but they both end up backing up because they're both only 10% health left, and instead BeanSoupBob will go ahead and back here. Goodness, a lot going on.
You wanted to talk about something different. That is not allowed. You should know how this works by now.
I know. That Gold Fury is where the next fight's going to be, besides maybe in the dual lane where a big box is coming out. Jingwei and Ishtar ultimate being used. Jingwei finds herself in a much worse position than Ishtar, as Apollo will end up missing the ult from the skies as well as his killing ability, but the beads being used by Jabber to hopefully secure his own life, escaping from 3 people, but no. The beautiful sun, yes, will end up killing Jingwei. Jabber going down. 4-1 lead on the side of Eclipse. 2 minutes from now is 10 minutes. That's exactly when we saw the rotation come out to this Gold Fury. Let's see if it happens this time.
Beautiful Rising Dawn coming out from Eclipse. Hapn making it happen. Getting a nice kill onto the dual lane.
Oh. He was there for like 0.5 seconds, it felt like, man. That's what early game Thanatos does, isn't it?
He gets in, he gets the kill, and then just takes all of your back camps while he's there.
Yeah, I mean, guy can smell death. Guy is death. I mean, put him and Hades together, you kind of have a little party of 2 death, and maybe even Baron Stamity if you don't put the people of life and death together. I mean, there's a lot of people in death in this game, but Thanatos is really good at doing it in the early game. Finding a trade back kill for what happened on the left-hand side of the map allows for the score to only be 4-2. Gold, not that different because no objectives have been pulled as of yet. Sleepy half health here, but Hapn around the corner. Pool will end up missing for Andy. But I hope that we can see a big house come out here very soon because we have not seen Baba Yaga ult yet. And I think when she does, it's gonna be kills.
It will definitely send somebody packing once it comes out because that's a lot of damage. And you gotta be careful where you're standing because if you get caught out by that, it's aptly named because it will send you right back to home sweet home.
I always forget exactly what that's called. I've been doing the Smite savvy stuff and stuff like that, and so I get some of Baba Yaga's abilities. I'm always like, what the heck are these names? But yes, that is a very good name for that ultimate because she goes, well, it's undefined for us. Ultimate undefined. But either if it's undefined or if it's actually called Home Sweet Home, it will destroy people. But as I was saying, guess what time it is? It's 10 minutes. It's the reaping hour. Let's all get to the Gold Fury and start fighting there. 4 members of each team here and ready to fight. Ishtar still on the left-hand side of the map. This is it's like clockwork, man. It's literally like clockwork. Let's see who can get this first pick here. Hapn is in a good position to possibly get a little bit of a pull here, but also the rest of his team is on the other side of the wall. But instead of actually pulling this, they're going to say, let's not waste our time at this Gold Fury. Let's just go ahead and get back into the mid-wave. But Andy was still back there, ready to fight the Gold Fury while the rest of his team was backing off. Big Baby will come out here and slap the head of Sylvanas and Grover. And Grover says, "Argh!" and dies. And then there's the house I was talking about, but it literally did nothing the entire time because no one was there to hit. Snoozism, he's here now, ready to take a fight, but instead says, I'm going to back home. And that was a lot of grouping for nothing, it felt like, but also just one pick onto Andy, who now is 0-2, sadly, getting picked here because of the inability to rotate, you know?
Ends up getting caught just a little bit out of position. Unfortunately, a lack of mobility will end up spelling the doom of Andy. Tried to use Wrath of Terra to escape,
Oh, yeah.
but it will not be enough. BeanSoupBob was there with Colossal Fury and strike him down.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what Sunbreakers has to do here to make these fights go their way, because that was a good rotation to Gold Fury, but it was just a little bit delayed on the de-initiation, right? So they were trying to take the fight there, and then everyone backed off besides Andy. De-initiation. Do you like that word?
Sorry, I was just watching. BeanSoupBob was trying to pick up the Runic Bomb after getting Pyro, but couldn't pick it up because his slots were full, so he had to drop a ward on the Pyromancer just to pick up the Runic Bomb. That's the dedication that we're after here.
Yeah, SDL, we do love the Runic Bomb. And speaking of Runic Bombs, man, if he would have landed that would have been a humongous pool for Sunbreakers. But yeah, we have a Runic Bomb on Vamana with a Golden Blade, which is pretty cool. And he could easily walk into one of these 3 towers and probably blow it up within 1 second if he would like to. EmoticonFather currently leading by 1 level against his enemy mid laner Baba Yaga. Hell is going a Doom Orb build right into Breastplate of Regrowth. Probably going a more tanky mid build. Is this something that you want to see out of Hell?
This has been a very popular build I've seen on Hells lately, especially in the mid lane. Getting that Doom Orb to get a little bit of extra MP5 and a lot of power gives you the ability to rotate, especially to this Gold Fury.
Yeah, Gold Fury getting pulled here by Eclipse. Eclipse is the initial pooler and the killer that will end up securing the buff. Big sprays come out here from Storm, but will not end up getting the kill onto Jabber. Jabber, who is level 13, walking into mid lane and finds himself against BeanSoupBob, but also BeanSoupBob finds himself in an even worse position. In the air right now is Apollo, will not land onto anyone, and dashing in using that song to get a kill. Big ultimate coming out from Khepri to secure his Apollo's life, but it's not enough because Teddy522 will go up into the air and come back down on top of his head. 4 versus 3 right here. House doing damage, but also BeanSoupBob getting the kill. Now you have Snoozism alone on the left-hand side of the map. 4 versus 1 will drop down thanks to a double kill coming out from the Vamana. BeanSoupBob making these rotations and making stuff happen.
Getting active, and just as you were talking about that earlier, you didn't see a whole lot of damage coming out from the house, but there goes EmoticonFather. It may have been BeanSoupBob securing the kill, but that was quite a lot of damage coming out from Sleepy.
Yeah, Sleepy obviously now number 2 on the charts, probably thanks to that Home Sweet Home car right there. Look at the damage charts. You have 3 members of Eclipse just on the top, and then a wonderful looking Snoozism on the Amaterasu. 1.4k gold lead in the way of Eclipse, and only very basically nothing XP difference between both teams. If Eclipse can consistently keep this lead pushing towards their way, this could become a 2 to 3k lead within the next couple of minutes, especially with this Fire Giant looking to be the next target, but that might be a little bit while until that happens.
Eclipse is definitely sitting in a position of power right now. They have the ability to start these rotations and initiate those team fights, which is exactly what they want with a team like this. They have the ability to get in, do a lot of damage really quickly, and then pull out to do whatever else they wanted to do. This could be a very dangerous turn of events. The Sunbreakers are going to have to be very careful if they don't want to see the Eclipse take this game.
All right, JeeringLamb, here's another question. Do you like sparkling water or like flat water, like regular mineral water?
Regular water.
Have you drinking sparkling water? Like, do you like
I have.
Gotcha, okay. What about what's that, Topo Chico? Have you ever drank that before? Do you like that?
I have not, nor does it sound like something I would like. I tried the LaCroix cans. Not a fan of those.
Ooh.
Legacy, not a fan of Storm right now, getting active. Blades of Retribution almost secure the kill, but here comes TG.
Ooh.
And that will be the kill.
TG, really good ultimate coming out from him right there. Another one. That's the second one on this side of the map. Jabber's probably getting really frustrated, but Eclipse is now having to put themselves into a defensive position to try and secure this Pyromancer because Sunbreaker said, okay, you guys have 2 members over there. We're going to immediately go towards this. Big House is coming out in the backside. 3 versus 1 is what BeanSoupBob is doing right now, and finds himself in a rough position because that is not what he wanted, but an ultimate coming out from Khepri. Now will be able to wait. Thanatos coming down from the skies will secure the kill. Aegis being used by Sleepy. No one dies on the backside of that fight because Snoozism was fighting very well. Soul Reap coming out from Thanatos as well as Blink will do minimal damage because that's probably the 3rd thing he's upgrading as of right now. But that is a Vamana for a, what was that? Was that a trade or was that just a one-way kill? Just the Vamana, right?
They did manage to get the kill into Jingwei on the other side of the map, but now Vamana ends up falling, and that will be a Pyromancer in favor of the Sunbreakers, who will take the 2nd Runic Bomb of this game.
Runic Bomb. Hapn finds himself in a bad position, but a teleport coming in from BeanSoupBob to try and help his team peel out of this bad situation of 4 versus 3. Lots of healing on the side of Sunbreakers and not lots of anti-healing on the side of Eclipse. I mean, we got Tainted Steel, obviously, and Divine Ruin. It reminds me just of last game where that was basically the exact same thing. No Brawler's Beat Stick coming out this time. And we don't see an Onk as of just yet, but we might be seeing it just a bit later because that would be really good here against the Hell.
Well, it's not quite as easy for Eclipse to build some more of those extra anti-heal items since they can't exactly grab Shadow Steel Shuriken. And if they do pick it up in this game, then we've got some other problems going on. But the next problem of this game is going to be this Primal Fury being looked at by both sides as Eclipse and Sunbreakers get ready to take another fight.
This is a 10-minute dance, but it's at 17 minutes. This is exactly what happens both games. Whenever these objectives come up, you can know that these godlike players are going to be right there, right on time, ready to fight for it. So you have 2 members of Sunbreakers in mid right now, clearing those waves, trying to get pressure over there, and then they will immediately rotate over. Andy, though, finds himself in a fight that he probably does not want as of right now, but EmoticonFather will walk in, and Soul Reaper, excuse me. Soul Reaper will be used in the back, but will not end up securing a kill. Big ultimate coming out from TG, and Storm going to fall, even though using the ultimate against 3 members of Eclipse. Big kill coming out from BeanSoupBob. Andy getting picked. This is a 3v4. Sunbreakers in a bad position, trying to escape from the wrath of Eclipse, and TG is over here ready to take a 2v1 if need be, while there is a 3v1 being fought on the right-hand side of your screen. Snoozism trying to get out, while Jabber and EmoticonFather are saying, let's fight, and Jabber critting. Unstoppable. EmoticonFather coming out with a double kill. Jabber running away with only 10% of his health against Snoozism, who has a dash, a speed, and everything that he would need to kill a poor little old lady that doesn't have a house right now. Hapn running away, level 11 versus level 17. EmoticonFather. 4 players from Sunbreakers are now ready to go and attack Fire Giant, including a healing Hell.
Snoozism just beating up the homeless elderly. That's going to be a great pickup on Gold Fury. Sunbreakers have a lot of space. Hapn the only one close by. Not really able to do too much as a Khepri to try and secure. The Sunbreakers managed to secure the Primal Fury, but that will be Hapn's life in exchange.
Yeah, Hapn did not have ultimate already used onto his teammates. I believe he used it onto TG or onto BeanSoupBob in the back. But ultimate being used here by both Teddy and Storm, who doesn't have his ultimate as of right now. But Teddy had to go up in the air because crit chance is coming out from Storm right now. Full build almost on the crit side as far as it goes with the boomerang as well as the demon blade. You can see that also, as I said, this might be a double crit game. That's exactly what it is. Apollo going literally the identical build. Just one difference is it's Eye of the Jungle instead of Death's Toll.
Gotta watch out, those Storms still taking quite a bit of damage from Jabber. This is a big 1v1, but the jukes are just enough. Jabber ends up picking up a solo kill onto Storm. I'm seeing a lot of solo kills from Jabber onto Storm.
Yeah, Jabber might just be the better solo player. We've had this happen before in Immortal level games, where there might just be people that are generally better solo 1v1 matchup duel type of players, and then there are some people that are better at team fights. Because we saw Storm come out last game and do really well in the team fights, and actually enough so that some of the ults that they were landing were like fight changers. Obviously not enough to get them the win, but it was enough to create some chaos. And I think that Jabber's looking for a lot more of those 1v1s. He literally, you'll see that when he takes these fights, that a lot of the time he's not exactly grouped up with the rest of his team. He might be with EmoticonFather, who is the person he's supposed to be with, but he's looking for those independent picks. Big pull coming out from Andy, but dash being used here by BeanSoupBob, who is still pretty healthy and ready to challenge this Pyromancer if need be, but the rest of his team is not even close to the area, not able to steal it, is BeanSoupBob. So Sunbreakers will also secure, Eclipse will also secure, Sunbreakers will secure that Pyromancer, and another Runic Bomb going their way, which now they have 2 Runic Bombs, and we love those Runic Bombs. 33 gold, you want to sell them, you can get 66 gold right now. There you go, congrats.
And we saw in the last game, Runic Bombs win the games. Last time Eclipse only had 39 wards, Sunbreakers had 41. Hapn was in a bad spot. Andy had 2 Runic Bombs in his inventory last time they did a Fenix Siege in game number 1. Those 2 Runic Bombs were the same number of wards. That's why Sunbreakers won game number 1. But can Eclipse pull it back as they are looking at this Fire Giant now?
Yeah, this is about time for Fire Giant. 22 minutes into the game. Current score 11-10. Been a pretty low kill game, which is expected for these higher level plays. 2 supports kind of just tickling each other at this point. Kepri and Sylvana saying hi to each other. They probably could do a little dance or a little wave. But Sunbreakers are in a great position here to go ahead and take this Fire Giant if they want to, or at least start to pull it. But also, Eclipse is here with the crit chances. BeanSoupBob dashing in, ready to take a fight, and an Onk, I believe, just came out onto everyone on Sunbreakers who cannot heal. I did say that there might be an Onk this game. Pool will not land, and instead will land a lot of damage. TG going up, BeanSoupBob going on to Colossal Fury. A big ultimate coming down from Apollo will knock up 2 members. Sadly, it was the 2 tanks. 1v3 in the back is Teddy522. Finding a big baby by himself, will secure the kill as Thanatos getting the reset on almost everything, and then Sleepy and the rest of Eclipse dashing out of the eyes of Sunbreakers, as they're probably going to have to give up this Fire Giant unless they want to walk in 2v4, because 2 members of Eclipse are all very low. So yes, this is going to go the way of Sunbreakers. Easily secured. Well done fight there. Was that an overextension by BeanSoupBob there, Lamb?
They definitely got very active, but unfortunately they just didn't have quite enough damage. And by the end of the team fight, while BeanSoupBob was trying to use Colossal Fury to unleash some rage onto the backline, there just wasn't any help from TG. And unfortunately, that will be the loss of a team fight for Eclipse. They had a little bit of momentum going their way, but now Sunbreakers taking it back. They gotta be careful. Eclipse sitting on the back foot now. They can't be stepping up too far like that again, because they need to make sure their target selection is on point for this next fight.
This should be a 5v5, but sadly, BeanSoupBob having to go back into Big Baby and once again getting ultimated, and a Fenix will fall on the side of Eclipse, but they are responding with a lot of answer here, a lot of damage here. Storm in a 1v1 versus Snoozism, not the 1v1 that you expected probably. Shell being used here, which is an odd choice to use, considering the fact that you had an ultimate on him. Now Andy is alone over here, and triple kill coming out. That was unexpected. I didn't even see the double kill. But Baba Yaga, we said that was not doing that much damage before, now has 23 freaking K damage, and was in the house and probably did a shit ton of damage, excuse my language, in that house.
Getting a little bit vile out here, but Baba Yaga getting even more nasty on the field, turning that fight around. We said it earlier, don't sleep on this Baba Yaga.
No.
That is a lot of late game damage, and you gotta watch out, because just like that, that's a triple kill, and now Jabber might be getting caught out.
Having to use the ultimate, but right there is Hapn, and having to land right back onto Tej, as well as a bad Storm who is going to crash and hit right in the face of Jabber. Jabber not doing as well this game. Last game led his team through almost the entirety of the early, mid, and late game as far as damage went. Instead, this game currently sitting at a comfortable 4th spot as far as damage goes, the highest on his team, but also 2-5. Most deaths on his team, not presenting as well as he did last game.
Not quite what he was looking for, but this time around, Storm has absolutely been raining on Jabber's parade, especially with the help of TG for Pyromancer 1 for just one more Runic Bomb. that'll go into the hands of Andy.
Yes, Andy, you got a runic bomb, baby. Keep in mind that's 33 gold. We got Heroism coming out from, it looks like, possibly both supports here, which I'm surprised to see. I was told literally a couple days ago I don't play support that often. I'm a solo jungleman, so Heroism I hear is only
Compassion
really
is
good.
statted right now.
Yeah, it is obviously statted as well, but that's Heroism right there on the right-hand side of your screen, which gives a shield to members that are hard CC'd or stunned or, you know, something like that. So then it gives them a shield, a percent of your health, basically over to them. Pretty cool item, but also, is there a reason why they're not going Sentinel's Embrace here, do you think? Is it because there's already so much healing going on and stuff like that?
It's certainly one way to try and go for the Sentinel's Embrace. It does give you a little bit more survivability in the early laning phase since you're a little bit tankier, but the healing coming out from that Compassion and being able to keep the team alive might give Eclipse a little bit more of an edge. Hapn taking a little bit of extra damage, keeping the teammates alive could be the extra edge in these team fights that they're looking for.
Yeah, and what they do really need right now is some kind of winning factor, and that could be it, as you just said. We have Snoozism all the way down here at the bottom. Once again, we find a 1v1 Storm versus Snoozism. This is something that has happened so many times this game. This is the third time in the last couple of seconds. Beads and Aegis being pulled, but now Snoozism is on the back foot, trying to run away. The entirety of Sunbreakers is here and ready to push in if need be, but instead will decide once again to retreat. This is a 27-minute and 30-second game. And we're looking at a Fire Giant that could be the second one in the game. If we wait for 2 more minutes, this is enhanced, but it looks like Sunbreakers said, nah, we're going to go ahead and get this right now. But 2 members of Eclipse standing right next to the screen. BeanSoupBob will blink in, go into Colossal Fury and slap some heads. Teddy522 blinking in. Home Sweet Home being used by Sleepy to try and secure her own life, but instead will be smacked down upon by Teddy as he is trying to escape now from a lot of damage and crit chance that is TG. Snoozism once again finds himself in the back line trying to fight 3 members of Eclipse. This is a 3v3 situation right now. Snoozism dashing out from the Apollo damage because that would have been devastating for him to have to deal with. And Hapn now running away from EmoticonFather and Andy, and EmoticonFather will secure a double kill. This is now a 2v3 situation, but no one is going to be able to get Fire Giant. And as I just said, once it hits 30 minutes, Fire Giant becomes enhanced and becomes much more dangerous for each member of the team. If Sunbreakers can get this enhanced Fire Giant, or Eclipse can get this enhanced Fire Giant, the game becomes much harder to play for the opposite team.
Just like you said, that advanced Fire Giant really makes it difficult for anybody trying to defend. That's a lot of extra power that's going to be in the pockets of whoever ends up picking up that buff. But right now, they're not looking to enhance the Fire Giant. They're looking to enhance their own stats.
And it looks like we've got a little pause coming out right now. TG is looking absolutely great in that position, kind of like a little dual pistol. But we will be right back in a couple of seconds after this pause is out. Back from that pause. It was only a couple of seconds, and we are back into playing this game. As I was talking about just a couple of seconds ago, and Lamb was talking about, this is now probably going to be an enhanced Fire Giant fight, and it's going to be much more difficult to defend against an enhanced Fire Giant. Eclipse currently 5 members strong on the right-hand side of the map, as well as Sunbreakers. This is going to be either a game-deciding fight or a Fire Giant deciding fight. Because this dance is what these players are all practicing for throughout this entire game. You play this entire game to get to this point. But Pyromancer will be the first pull here. Sunbreakers going to test the waters and see what Eclipse can do. And maybe if they can get a pick. But Sunbreakers will secure the Pyromancer and have a third Runic Bomb. Woo! Snoozism in the back. Ready with a big ultimate, dazzling into the sky, as well as Teddy going straight up into the sky and landing right back onto Storm's head. Colossal Fury slamming 3 people, as well as Jabber, who has to ultimate out of the situation. Teddy522 finds himself in a bad position of a 1 3v3 where he will end up dying. Basic attack is BeanSoupBob, as well as now TG will join him on top of Andy, but instead securing the kill is Sleepy, who is looking great on this Baba Yaga. EmoticonFather throwing out his heal to no one, and now using that heal on himself to try and get out of this situation, because Sleepy is still around the corner, kind of lurking, looking, waiting, being a shark of some sort, waiting for this hell to have to walk back into this fire giant, while his entire team secures what is now an enhanced fire giant, going the way of Eclipse, and only one member will not have enhanced fire giant, which is their ADC Storm.
Yeah, but do you need the ADC when you already have an Apollo jungle? TG is getting really active with that crit on the Apollo, putting in some numbers, really climbing player damage charts here. But it looks like Jabber has something to say about it, dropping that tower really quickly, trying to get a little bit of compensation. Storm making sure not backing anywhere lazy.
Yeah, no lazy backing in this life. We've seen it happen multiple times in the last game where someone would be lazy backing. Whoa. Excuse me? Did Storm just walk through a wall?
I've seen that one before. It looks to be just a UI bug where, for some reason, the wall just extends on our screen a little bit farther than it should.
Storm became the Nightwalker.
Otherwise, Storm, Zapman, and a couple other people have some answers to give us.
Yeah, tell us
Jabber
why that...
answering. Jabber answering right there had to ult out very quickly.
Yeah, it's a sad ult to have down, but it's kind of why you pick Jingwei, is because you kind of want to, if you need to get out, that's the god you want to play, is to get out. Sieging, Eclipse, 5 members, left side of the map, and here we go. Hapn is ready to walk in there. He's hungry. He wants it. Trying to get a pick if they can, but instead will land that onto absolutely no one. Storm dashing in, forcing the beads is herself. She has to do it. Ultimate being used, will not stun anyone, and a big dazzling show coming out, but will not secure any kills. Instead, it will be just the opposite, as 75-2-2 will go down. BeanSoupBob slamming, as well as Apollo going up into the air and trying to see if maybe there is a kill in the area, but there is not. There actually is a kill all the way in the backline, as Andy was ready to move forward and take a fight when there was no one there to take the fight with him. EmoticonFather will secure a kill on the opposing side and actually end up getting a kill. 2 members drop on the Eclipse team, which now makes this a 3v3. Baba Yaga still stands. No house, though, sadly for her, and no life here in a second, unless she can maybe get a double kill, but will not. Not enough potions there in that situation. Hapn will have to fall for his sins, as BeanSoupBob will say, all right, I'm going to press B or whatever it is on the controller and get the frick out of here. Well done there by Sunbreakers, sadly losing a Fenix, but returning a lot of kills thanks to EmoticonFather doing a ton of damage, finding herself right at the second spot and the damage charge right now.
Still got to be careful, though. Eclipse did manage to take down the dual lane Fenix, the most important one. So the next time Fire Giant comes up, Eclipse will have a nice advantage on their way, but can they defend for just a little bit longer? BeanSoupBob blinking into 3.
Yeah, this is a smart decision. BeanSoupBob, what he's trying to do here is just distract, make sure those minions don't get underneath, and waiting for this to come up. Colossal Fury, because Jabber has no beads or Aegis right now, but it doesn't matter. He just got his beads back up, but it doesn't matter because crit chance is a lifesaver. Teddy522 going up into the air. Last time we saw him do this, it did not end up working out too well for him. Storm will use a preemptive ultimate to try and make some room for his team, and it will do just that. Teddy says, I'm not going to go ahead and go in. And middle Phoenix will fall. Sunbreakers literally just went just the opposite way. Said, all right, you guys are going to take our dual lane. We'll go ahead and take your mid lane because we killed 4 of your members. BeanSoupBob cannot single-handedly defend the entire thing. And Fire Giant is about to be up in the next 30 seconds or so. And this should be a big game-deciding Fire Giant because 2 Phoenixes being down, but yet 2 towers being up inside of Sunbreakers. This fight's going to come a lot faster than I thought it was because Teddy522 is in the background and Storm landing big crits onto Teddy and as well as TG landing some humongous crits on a Jabber. Jabber likes that crit, but guess who likes it more? It's the man who just landed on absolutely no one on the ground. You have a 4-man Eclipse running it down right now because a Fenix is down, which means they could walk right into that Titan room, and that's probably what they're going to do here. 4 members of Sunbreakers are down. Andy is the last member standing, will not be able to solo hold this Titan, I don't believe, unless he has a miracle. He has no ultimate, no abilities, and might just have to be a little dance here, a little, VEL, VED. And that's what it's going to be. They're going to dive him in the fountain and try to get the kill, but instead we'll just go ahead and probably drop this Titan because Andy is very tanky, and you're in for a prize because this is a game 3 1-to-1 set, and whoever has the more crit in these games seems to be winning right now. We will see you in a couple seconds to talk more about that crit. Look at that, look at that, look at that. We got Storm and Tej on the exact same 33K page right there. And then the wonderful, the house, the old lady that was traumatized in the beginning of the game, 48K coming from Sleepy. The second game in a row where Sleepy has done the most damage. 41 came in the game before, 48K game in this game. I'm excited for game number 3 where maybe he'll do even more damage. What do you have to comment? And let's hear about this Baba Yaga if you have anything to say about that.
The damage was just a little bit too much to handle. Eclipse only had 44 wards to the 58 on the Sunbreakers, but the damage was just too much for them to handle. And we'll see how they be able to try and make adjustments. Who will end up taking game number 3 when we come right back at you with more action.
Hello and welcome back for game number 3. On your left-hand side of your screen, you will see Sunbreakers. On the right-hand side, you will see Eclipse. This is a switcheroo. This is the first time they switched in the last 3 games. Baba Yaga, first ban coming from Sunbreakers. Makes sense. They didn't like the, Bakasura was a ban in the previous game. This is a Baba Yaga ban this game. Sleepy was really good in the Baba Yaga. But, Eclipse says, we're going to go with our true pride and everything else that we know, Kali ban, which is the exact same ban they've been doing every single other game.
To be fair, Kali is a fair ban. Once she gets on that backline, it is nothing but destruction. Kali just being unkillable in that ultimate, really wreaking a lot of havoc. Definitely something that's worth a ban. Gotta watch out for it. But on the other hand, Sunbreakers getting rid of some very problematic characters of their own.
Yeah, that makes the most sense for them, especially because the Eclipse ban of the Bakasura, they're still scared about it. That was a game ago. Teddy522's Bakasura in game number 1 was very threatening, and so obviously a lot of respect bans come out here. These two teams have not scrimmed each other as of just yet and shown each other's hand. Some of these secret picks have been coming out that have been very devastating in both games. Deciding factor in game number 1 was for sure that Bakasura. That Bakasura was probably the most prominent player as far as it went for Sunbreakers. And then the opposite side, Baba Yaga was the most prominent player for Eclipse and their win. So just 2 respect bans that are really well worth a good look at. But the Khepri ban coming out here from the Sunbreakers, they did not like to see happen on it because it must have brought way too much sustain to that team.
It was a lot of sustain, and being able to revive somebody like that with the Scarab's Blessing just makes it so much harder to try and get active in teamfights. Being able to bring them back to life, you don't get the kill, you don't get the gold, and you still can't even pull the objective because there's still the threat around of somebody being there. But now, for the first time this set, Terra has not been banned, and it will end up being the first pick overall of the game number 3 draft. This could be very interesting. Terra has received a lot of changes over the years, but right now, Terra being the first overall pick could be very, very dangerous. But it looks like Eclipse, not too worried about it, going to go ahead and run with the trusty Ishtar.
Yeah, Ishtar's been picked all 3 matches. It's been switched back and forth. This time it's going back to the same team. BeanSoupBob would like that Vamana again, and I agree with him. BeanSoupBob was pretty devastating to have around that backline, able to 3v1 for a very long time. Maybe if they don't get a Thanatos this time onto Teddy, Vamana could even do more, it feels like. But how do you answer from last game? Well, we saw exactly what Eclipse does, and especially what Sleepy does on his mages. How do the Sunbreakers answer and come back with a game 3 victory like they did in game number 1?
They got to keep an eye on this Vamana. The real thing that he did, once that Colossal Fury goes up, that's a lot of space for the backline to do whatever it is that they wanted. And since they had a Hunter in the jungle, you were able to freely rotate, just go across the sky, and just drop down wherever you wanted in the team fight. And it really gave them way too much utility. Eclipse had so much to work with. It really was an enabler for Sleepy to do whatever he wanted. So it's definitely a good idea to keep an eye on the Vamana doing all that damage.
Yeah, there's one Pacific relic that helps a lot with Vamanas. And there's also a new item called Erosion, which is pretty cool, that counters shields. And that's exactly what Vamana has. Vamana used to heal himself in his ultimate, but instead now he gets a shield that replenishes as he takes more damage or as he sustains his ultimate, basically. But BeanSoupBob will end up picking this Merlin again for Sleepy. We saw this in game number 1. Did the most damage in the game, ended up losing the match, but this time I think they might have figured something a little bit out. You know, there might have been the Soul Laner in the first game. It might have been the ADC situation in the first game. Who really knows? But either way, we love to see Sleepy on this Merlin again.
It did a lot of work in game number 1 and really did make an impact, even if it wasn't a successful game where they got the victory. But we'll see, will these bans coming out be able to change the story as we see Hell and Daji banned out by the Eclipse side? But will the Sunbreakers respond with a Maui and one more ban?
You know what? I'm very happy to not see a Hell in this game. I was getting very tired of it. I'm also happy not to see a Sylvanas. Let's see some different gods, guys. Let's vary it up. So we already see 3 different gods coming out from Sunbreakers. We see 3 gods that we've already seen on every god on Eclipse. They're going with the trusty and true that they know, basically. But we have not seen the Terra, we have not seen the Cernos, and we have not seen the wonderful Scottish lad Cullen, who turns into a ginormous monster. But there is a new pick that I also have not seen yet. A Fafnir is someone that has not been picked in a lot of patches because it just does not feel as good in this current meta. Gods like Terra feel like gods like Emoja, gods like Maui, gods like Kebri and Geb feel really good in this meta. But Fafnir has not been one of those. But this is an entirely new game here from Sunbreakers. They said, screw everything we did in the last 2 games, excuse me. This is a new game. We're picking 5 new gods that we have never touched yet, and this is a brand new comp. How do you feel about this new comp coming from Sunbreakers?
It's definitely a nice switch up, and it has a lot of utility. But you got to keep in mind, those are still tried and true members from side Eclipse here. They've got a lot of people that they know exactly how to play. You just saw it in the last game. Vamana and Ishtar went very well. We saw in game number 1, Merlin went extremely well. You gotta remember, and there goes the Apollo, a lot of repeat picks. You gotta keep in mind the old saying, youth and exuberance is no match for old age and treachery.
Yep, and with that, we will go ahead and head into game number 3, not waste any time. Set 1-1. Whoever wins this set in Godlike. We will see you in a couple of minutes.
I don't wanna feel as cold as the winter. Let me sink into
Alrighty, and welcome back. It has been a couple of hours since we last saw you guys, maybe a couple of days. But this is a Sunbreakers versus Eclipse match that we have seen 2 games of. This one feels a bit different, though. Would you agree with me on that one? Because Sunbreakers have kind of picked a little bit different here.
They're definitely going for a much newer composition. None of these gods have been picked this set yet, but there is still time to make some plays. Gotta give them credit, though. They're going for something new, trying to spice it up a little. Will it be in time? This is now 1-1. This is game number 3. Winner takes all of Sunbreakers versus Eclipse.
Yeah, and I don't think that Eclipse is too worried. I think they literally said, we know what we're doing. We liked what we did last game. We're gonna just run it back one more time and see if we can do it. So Sleepy on the Merlin, we obviously said we'd like that. But Tej coming out with the Apollo the Apollo Jungle one more time as well, which is something that I talked about last game. A lot of crit chance. And you said, do you love crit chance or runic bombs more? In this situation, it might be crit chance because this is 2 games in a row that might be able to do a lot. Teddy522 and TG already fighting it out, trying to get someone to die, but instead no one will die. Jump being used by Teddy as well as dash being used by Tej. But yeah, double crit again. But this time, who knows? Maybe there's an answer coming from Sunbreakers.
They do certainly have a chance. They have a lot of damage. Nice double stun in the dual lane. Hapn and Jeb are just getting really active on each other, but right now, Teddy gonna have to be careful trying to steal away the mid-harpies from 2 members of Eclipse.
Will not have any chance. Jabber trying to dodge hammers, only level 2, while the enemy are both level 3. Jabber on this Karnunos. This is something that I know could work pretty well if we can get into the late game. We got Wild Hunt, obviously one of the best hunters in the game. Is Hernunos, not only ADC, but literally it's what he's made for. He's literally a hunter. And so if Jabber can get to that late game with a crit chance build, he might be able to carry a lot more of this game than you would expect. And as I said, this is his first week into this this league, first or second, I forget exactly which one it is, but we saw a lot of good talent coming from him the first 2 games, especially that first game. What can he do this 3rd game to go ahead and make it possible? Do you think this Terror will help at all?
It could certainly help. A lot of that Earthen Fury damage can come in late game and really make a difference, but this early game CC really being helpful to keep Storm at bay, making sure he doesn't get a little bit too rowdy. But Jabber loves those 1v1s and has really been going for those solo kills, making it look like Pagon and Venenu all over again. Gonna have to be very, very careful if you want to see anything happen in the duo lane. There could be a lot of action.
Bad news, we're not in the Matrix because there was no invades on any blues this time. Congratulations, we've exited the doors, or whatever you want to call it. You know, we've taken the blue pill, red pill, whatever one it is, and we are now out of the yin-yang situation where both teams were switching back and forth who would invade which blue buff and who would gank the left side of the map. Instead, this time, everyone's kind of just playing a game of Smite. Kind of just playing a very normal, vanilla, hitting wood blocks and Minecraft style kind of game.
Definitely a lot calmer than it has been. And if this is anything to go off of, we might just see First Blood pop up in the mid lane, for all that we know, since normally it's been over in the duo lane.
How dare you say that? That's impossible. But yes, it's very possible. Yu Huang and Merlin, at level 5, both of those gods can just, especially Yu Huang, those big dragons can come out of both sides of the screen and make you appear right in front of a lot of people. So it's not a good situation if you're the Merlin and getting caught out. A steal will not come out here for Hapn. Hapn will decide just to walk over the wall. And I like Hapn on this Fafnir, by the way. I was going to say this earlier, but I did not like him as much on the Khepri. Funny enough, I like him a lot on this Fafnir because you have 2 ADCs, number 1, and number 2, I mean, it's an escapability. That's what was happening last game. A lot of the supports were getting picked out a ton. Not only Hapn, but also Andy. Both of them this time have decided to go for picks that will allow you to get out and maneuverability, to be exact, is the word I'm looking for. But Wild Hunt will be used here by Jabber, just creating room for himself. Will hit level 6 before both members of the duo lane. Looking pretty good for Jabber right now.
Jabber's definitely got a little bit of an advantage. But here's a question for you. Do you know the difference between a hunter and a fisherman?
Wow. One uses a hook and one doesn't.
The hunter lies and waits. The fisherman waits and lies.
Are you Uncle Iroh? Goodness, you're so cool. You got like all these lines. All right, dude, I gotta go look up like quotes by Socrates or something to meet you in the middle here because you got some great crap here. That's awesome. I'll ask you. Should I put you on the spot and just ask you? Okay, so if this situation happens where, if Terra dies, she's nature. What do you have any quotes about nature?
Nature is an interesting one. It has a great ability to naturally heal itself and any who partake of it. But the problem is the Sunbreakers are on the edge here. They don't have quite the same ability to heal this game. If Eclipse ends up taking a little bit too much from them, Sunbreakers might end up falling.
Yeah, it's very true, and well done right there. Yes, not as much healing in this game in general. We're actually looking at little to none. Only Terra is the main of like your team healing as far as it goes, because we don't count Vamana as healing. Obviously, when he goes into Colossal Fury, he gets a shield and sustains for a very long time. Teddy522 will be healing a ton from his abilities, as well as I don't know if he will end up going Soul Eater or Blood Forge. Probably will in the end game. But the only healing you're going to be getting from this game are either from passives or from items that are purchased. So no Hell, no Aphrodite, no Sylvanas, no Guan Yu like in the first game. So probably no Onks this game as well.
We might see an Ankh just because TG and Storm both have the Bloodforge first item, and Vamana in that Colossal Fury does gain a lot of lifesteal, so you'll have to be careful. That is still a fair amount of lifesteal, just not the traditional ability healing that we see. But it looks like Eclipse trying to break the cycle here, grouping up for the Gold Fury earlier than 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is rare. We say this is the 10-minute dance that we're supposed to have is always right around 3 minutes from now, but instead, EmoticonFather will find that he has to go up in the air very quickly. Good wards here from both teams, but Jabber, really looking for a fight, is begging for a fight. He doesn't even care there are minions right there. He doesn't care what's going on. He says, let me hit you with my basic attacks. Let me go ahead and do some damage to you because I am now 2 levels ahead of you. Jabber looking great in this dual lane right now. Very dangerous, but Tej is over here and ready to take a fight, but also Teddy is as well, which means that this will probably just be a leaving situation for both of the Sunbreakers members, as Hapn also is right there. We are coming up upon 2 minutes until this Gold Fairy fight. I like to pump people up for this fight because it is one of the ones that actually decides. Still 0-0 at this minute in the game, which is not what happened the last 2 games.
I'm pretty sure at this point it is over twice as long into the game, and we still do not have a first blood. A much, much calmer to the start of this game, but it looks like Sunbreakers are taking just a little bit of an early lead, almost 1,000 gold here. This could end up turning into a little bit more if they're ready and prepared to do it. Eclipse is going to have to be cautious. They got to make sure they keep their farm up.
Yeah, that's really important for this entire team. As we get to this Gold Fury, that one item can make a humongous difference for absolutely everyone on the team. If you have that, that Blood Forge and then a full crit item completed in the ADC, or if you have Golden Blade and a full Contagion done, or a full Shield of Regrowth done in the Soul Lane, at that Gold Fury, you create a lot more chaos for the enemy team because you're either a lot harder to kill or a lot easier to do the killing. So let's see where this XP is in about a minute from now, as well as gold, and it might decide how these fights go exactly at the Gold Fury. But Hapn around this corner, waiting for Jabber to walk around the corner. Peekaboo! Blending in almost was Hapn because of his skin. He's green, he's a little leprechaun, able to stand right there and hug the wall, kind of look like the trees.
Right at the end of the rainbow, hiding in plain sight. Won't get a purple buff invade out of it, but it looks like we'll see a lot of action over in the Soul Lane as BeanSoupBob getting very active on Snoozism. Almost picking up that kill, falling very, very low, and it will be a kill. That will be a first blood and solo kill.
Immediately after that, Eclipse will go up 2-0. Teddy522 already using his jump, having to use Bat Out of Hell to try and escape this, but Wild Hunt will come out from Jabber, who will land a big 3-man ultimate force beads on 2 members of Eclipse, as they were pressuring a little bit too far after getting the pick on to EmoticonFather. Teddy522 is still here with his team, very low health, and beads being used by Storm to try to escape. Fafnir has already fallen, sadly, and will not be able to peel for his teammate Storm, but Merlin is there. Sleepy is ready to peel for his teammate, use the Vortex to get him out. Really well done there from both sides. A pick in the right side of the map, just a solo 1v1 coming out from the Vamana. And then on the opposite side, a good pressure there coming out onto EmoticonFather for the kill on him.
Sunbreakers will end up getting a 1-for-2 trade, even though they lost their solo laner. That'll be an even 2-for-2 kill count, as Snoozism trying to go for a blue buff invade, but members of Eclipse there to make sure that doesn't happen, and that will be a little bit more action. Snoozism not really willing to let this go, really just angry at BeanSoupBob. Suppose it's pretty natural for Kakolin.
Yeah, very natural. It's kind of what he's made for, it feels like a lot of the time. But I got some more good news here. We are once again out of the Matrix due to the fact that the Gold Fury has not been touched, and we also have not had a full 5-man grouping over there as of yet. So this is a very different game. I don't think it's because of exactly the picks that are going on and stuff like that. I think it's because they understand what's going on here. They understand that, like, this is a deep, this is a third game. They're trying to be a lot more cautious. This is like 4 kills is what we had at 5 minutes in last game, or the game before that, especially the game before that. It was very quick kills. So this time, both teams being very cautious about what fights they take and where they are on the map.
Taking a step back and really just taking a breather. There's been a lot of action going on this set, but this time, it's all for keeps. Game number 3, winner takes all. Sunbreakers and Eclipse standing on the edge of glory. Who will be able to take it? Got to be very, very selective in what you try and step up for, because this could be it.
It could be. Terra currently with a 2-level lead over the Fafnir, level 8 Fafnir, level 10 Terra. Looking great for Andy, who is presented on a Sylvanas as of the last 2 games, but instead this time going for a different healer that has just about as much healing, it feels like, a lot of the time in the Terra. I think this is a great pick coming out from that team, as well as a very slight lead coming out of the mid lane from our good friend Sleepy, who has been doing the most damage in every single game. Here's the 12-minute Gold Fury, currently at about 10% health. Eclipse will end up securing it, who is your red team. A good triad is still there coming from Jabber as well as EmoticonFather, but not in time. So easy enough. Eclipse will go up right there. Not much gold. It's going to be about 200 gold lead, which is really nothing at this point, but will bring them back into a good spot as far as that goes. But they're rushing over here to Pyromancer as well, which is Sunbreakers, who have pushed out the entirety right now of Eclipse. This might be a really good pick. We've seen this in the last 2 games, but BeanSoupBob is here with Colossal Fury, but Sunbreakers will secure the Pyromancer, but the life of Andy is for sure in question, as BeanSoupBob has a target on Andy's back. Will end up getting the kill with not the Umbrella Throw, but with the flare that he uses. He's number 2 right there. EmoticonFather missing the mark onto the Fafnir. Hapn will be full health and just fine, but BeanSoupBob is back here and finds 3 members of Sunbreaker standing right here, but Teddy522 will force Teddy522 will force himself into Bat Out of Hell, as he was down to about 5% of his health, and Hapn will use a hammer. Boom. Right into the head of Kambazats. Bat Out of Hell will not save you from a big Irish Fafnir. Going the way of Sunbreakers was that fight at one point, but kind of switched back over to Eclipse. A 5-5 game as of right now. What was wrong there? Because I think Eclipse all backed, right? They all left the map. And so Sunbreakers just ran over to Pyromancer and then did Pyromancer, and then they ended up taking a fight right after doing it. And it was just, seems like these fights are like equal trades right now. Is that kind of how it feels like it's supposed to be right now?
It's all thrown out of balance, because right now, if you notice, nobody picked up, or either nobody still has, the Runic Bomb. So either it wasn't picked up, or it was already used. Sunbreakers may have gotten the Pyromancer, but Eclipse did still get the Gold Fury, and they're going to be a little bit in the lead on the gold chart.
Yeah, not much at all. It's kind of pretty negligible at this point, which I was talking about. You know, those 1 or 2 items can really make a difference in the Gold Fury fights and the Pyromancer fights. But in this situation, you're looking at a very minimal difference. Let's take a look at these builds real quick. We got an early game Rada to Hootie on Yu Huang. We've seen a lot of different builds coming out from these mid laners. We've seen penetration, just straight up penetration coming out from Sleepy 3 games in a row now. Going to Spirit Desolation and Divine Ruin, and it looks like that might either be an Obsidian Shard or he probably not. It might be a Spear of the Magus. It's gonna be probably be a Spear of the Magus right there, because no one buys Obsidian Shard nowadays. But how do you feel about these mid lane builds?
I'm seeing a lot of those triple spear builds coming out. Try and say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Apparently I can't even say it once, but it looks like Jabber is going to have to watch out what he says, because now all the members of Eclipse are coming after him angry.
Not angry enough, it doesn't seem, because now they find themselves in not as good of a position, because guess who's here? Andy, but Andy got stunned right before able to hit the big old dash. Teddy says, I want to take a fight right now, team, and dashing in, using Bat Out of Hell, doing a lot of damage to the 2 carries that are on this team, missing, sadly, the big heal that he wish he would have gotten right there. But Andy and Jabber are both right here. Age being forced out by Storm right onto them. And wow, there is the big Terra ultimate that will allow for her team probably to escape here untouched because of how much healing it does upon getting damage. But BeanSoupBob dashing in. Terra ultimate has worn off. Colossal Fury coming out. 2 members are getting punched in the face and will fall because of no jump and no Bat Out of Hell onto Teddy522, who is now not in the grave as of yet, who is now actually ready to take a fight again, it looks like, because Snoozism has dashed through a wall, as well as Andy and Teddy522, who is down to about 5% health, will end up escaping, and a jump over the wall from Hapn will secure his own life. Snoozism trying to dash out and away from all of the members of Eclipse and will get out. This is a 4v4. Everyone basically at about 10% health besides Storm and BeanSoupBob, probably the 2 members you want to have with full health, because you're going for the Gold Fury right now.
We see Snoozism coming in hot. They're looking to try and contest this Gold Fury that's already at half HP. Eclipse even lower. Lincoln from Snoozism getting active. BeanSoupBob forced to dash away, but Sleepy caught out all alone. Might just be bedtime for him, but barely able to escape with the help of Storm. But at what cost? Caught out by 2, but with the help from the friends, we'll be able to keep Susan at bay for a little bit longer.
Goodness gracious, man. That
it doesn't end.
Yeah, Teddy522 was, I don't know, dead 3 times in my book. He was so gone. And he has serrated edge, which is one of the lifesteal items I talked about, which is what we were talking about earlier, which is these are not really like healing comps. You know, we don't see 3 healers in this game this time, especially not the Hell that we've seen in the last 2 games. And the Sylvanas we've seen in the last 2 games. This is a much more just straight up damage comp with not as much healing. And another Terra ultimate coming out to go on to BeanSoupBob, but doesn't look like you're going to be able to do much with this ultimate. Sunbreakers looking for anything, but a Yu Huang ultimate not going to land. Happen in the back here, as well as BeanSoupBob, who has Colossal Fury back up again and probably would love to use it as a big ultimate coming out from Ishtar. Storm landing it onto 4 members of the Sunbreakers. There is Colossal Fury, and there is the Apollo out of the sky. A tower is going to go down right now, and Sunbreakers can't do anything about it possibly, but they can do that because a big ultimate coming out from Snoozism, but will be answered directly back by crit to the head, because Apollo and Ishtar are both just flinging out those basic attacks right now, kind of treating this like a CSGO or like a Valorant kind of game, because both just critting non-stop against people like Kokolin. Jabber now the target of choice here, but Andy will end up falling in the backside of this entire fight, as Teddy will get the only kill secured for his team right now onto Storm, and now have to face a 3v1, and TG will end up getting a double kill right there. So, I mean, Kamazos is all the way in the back fighting someone by himself, and the only kill that Eclipse, the team with 10 kills in this game, the only kill that they ended up getting was, what, 1? That entire fight? Yeah, 1 on Storm. That's it.
It's hard to tell with how many fights there was. There was 1 by Gold Fury, 1 by T1 Tower in left, another 1 by T2 Tower, another 1 by T1 Ruins. There was Gold Fury, where they had to retreat. Eclipse got forced out. Sunbreakers pushed them back, took the Gold Fury, and then Eclipse re-dived them back in mid, took the T1 tower after trying to get it once, and now Eclipse comes out, finally breaking the spell. It's no longer even kills, it is now 7-10 in favor of Eclipse, and they have the Runic Bomb in their hands and a little bit of a gold lead for it.
Yeah, Eclipse now leads also by about 2k in gold, 3k in gold. Top damage, funny enough, BeanSoupBob looking great this game, really coming out and killing it. I think BeanSoupBob was in our votes for best name in the SDL, so congrats to him for possibly getting voted on there. This is done by the casters, and so I saw that name chosen there. Of course, you know who I chose. I had to choose Fenix with the 3 in the name because my name is Fenix. I don't know if there's anyone named Lamb. I'm sorry about that, Lamb. So you can't really vote for them, but maybe next time.
Shouldn't you be shutting down the imposter?
You're correct, but I think it's kind of well known throughout all the Discords that he is the better Fenix in comparison to me. And I know the guy, so he's a very, very sweet-hearted person, but no one compares to BeanSoupBob, and especially right now, considering 15k damage, his opposing Kokolin has 14k damage in this game currently, and we are currently getting into the big old Fire Giant fight as well. A lot of currents going on right now, but Fire Giant is probably your next target, or it could be Oni Fury, which we talked about last time, is when you get the Oni Fury, you can possibly go get the Fire Giant if your team at least gets the Oni Fury, because big old minions come out of every single lane. And do a lot of damage to these towers. Speaking of towers, BeanSoupBob says, I want this tower right now. I'm going to let my team possibly take a fight in the mid lane right here. EmoticonFather finding himself in a rough position, but instead will actually find himself in a great position, getting a big ultimate onto Sleepy, who is already in the ground, 6 feet under. Just got caught really quickly. I thought that was for sure going to go the way of EmoticonFather dying right there, but BeanSoupBob is still pushing over on the other side of the map while one of his teammates is dead, and Gold Fury will be the target here. Jabber going to go ahead and pull it right now. Hapn is the only person in space right now. Storm walking around, ult used by Tej to get into a better location. Half health currently is the Gold Fury, but Storm is here landing a lot of crits, and so is Tej. Jabber down to about half his health. Shell forced out from the members of Sunbreakers, and right now Teddy522 goes in 3v1, and it gets picked quite easily. Snoozism trying to run away because this is not the fight they probably wanted. As you are this team of Sunbreakers, just go ahead and get out of here. You probably want to take a fight on the Gold Fury, or just not at all at this point. I mean, possibly a call would be go to Fire Giant right now, but using the girdle is Eclipse, and they will end up securing a Oni Fury for their own team. Fafnir jumping in here, gets a stun right onto Andy's head, and Andy trying to get out of this situation. Another ultimate coming out from Yu Huang will land onto no one, as there was no one really in the area to get pulled because they were all trying to get over to Fire Giant or into mid lane and get some more farm. But big fight coming out there. I'm going to pass it off to you because my voice is dying.
Been going on and on. Somebody get this man a breath. Not able to catch any breaks. I do love the shout out though, going back to the days when it was the good old girdle instead of Built a Frenzy. That's a really long throwback. That's, if anybody here actually remembers that, those are some OG players right there. Back when it was Wrath or Girdle.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, we were talking about that, and Sundering Spear is the other one that I thought no one's picked up. Sundering Spear yet, but it's great. Oh, hey, what?
Is that it?
Yo,
they've been using it. He picked it up at level 12.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea. That's funny because I did not expect that from that team. I thought I was going to go on the Sunbreakers because Vamana. Of course, you would probably want to get the. I've gotten Sundering Spears against Vamanas all the time. Against Vamanas, but instead it's on the team with the Vamana. But Sundering Spear is a really good relic right now. I don't know if you know much about it, but I think it's a great item to get against really strong tanks, and you can just melt people like this, like in an instant.
It's a free team-wide Spear of the Magus that the supports can build without feeling bad about going damage. But speaking about damage, Andy getting caught out. There goes a Sundering. BeanSoupBob taking a lot of damage too.
Got to run away because you're already half health, but keep in mind that BeanSoupBob is Vamana, which means that you can come back into these fights and still use Colossal Theory to, be sustainable, be good. I don't think this is the Fire Giant that either team wants because every member of both teams are here, and usually in Godlike, you don't wait too long to initiate. You're looking for this fight at every second of the game. You're looking for it right now. You're looking for it every single second. So it's very surprising that this is even going on as long as it is right now. Teddy522 pushing the right-hand side of the map while the rest of his team is here doing a brilliant little waltz with the enemy team. Teddy522 sees the rotation coming in from Eclipse, and this could be a big fire giant going the way of Eclipse or Sunbreakers, because both teams are just looking for a quick little fight right now. Big old abilities coming out from Sleepy, and big old abilities coming out from the opposing mage Yu Huang, trying to land some early game damage, but Teddy522 still pushing this tower, and the entirety of Eclipse is doing nothing about it until right now, which they are ready, and BeanSoupBob will have to force out Colossal Fury to try and secure this kill. Bat Out of Hell is still up as of right now, not having to force it, trying to wait for this Colossal Fury to go down. Just don't touch him. Just don't touch him. Don't look at him. Don't look at him is what they're saying right now. Don't look at BeanSoupBob. Don't look at him. It's kind of like Medusa in some form or fashion. Storm, kind of basic attacking a minion, but no one is able to get picked on Sunbreakers. It's a good situation to be in, but Hapn using ultimate here, switching into a better form for sieging, and says, all right, if you're going to turn into that one, I'm going to go ahead and jump in, is what Snoozism says. Not really do anything with it. This dance is still going on. It's been going on for about 3 minutes now. Teddy is full health again, thanks to his Serrated Edge and Transcendence build that he has, pumping out a lot of damage and penetration. But blink in, coming from Susan, big ultimate. Yu Huang, big ultimate as well, landing onto 2 members. Storm forced to use Bead and Aegis. Girdle or Belt of Frenzy being used, as well as there is the big rawr scream from Snoozism, which will do a big old damage to an Ishtar that will get the kill. They are diving into tier 2 right now. Jump already used by Hapn will fall here thanks to a big jabber basic attack. Teddy using his ultimate once again. Bat Out of Hell will be down for this fire giant. Oh no, what am I supposed to do? Can't have Bat Out of Hell for fire giant. And this should be a pull by them. Lazy backing is Snoozism, but saw the ADC, not the ADC, excuse me, the jungler, Tej, coming out from the side of his eyes probably, where he was able to dash out and get away from this. BeanSoupBob will teleport in and look for a big fight onto 3 members of Sunbreakers. Going into Colossal Fury is he slapping. EmoticonFather is number 1 on the breakfast menu for BeanSoupBob, looking for Jabber as number 2, but Jabber says, I'm not interested in getting killed today. Will be able to get out, but will Andy be able to get out? Probably, as of right now. Very tanky is that Terrace. Snoozism once again teleported in as well. We're doing a little bit of a teleporting game coming in from the solo laners, but Teddy522 as well as Snoozism trying to pump out all their damage onto the very tanky Vamana solo laner, and Tej now 1v2 situation against 2 big old junglers will end up getting the big old 400 hit crit right onto Kamazotz, as well as another big hit crit right onto Snoozism, double kill coming out, and this should be a fire giant going the way of Eclipse, because that was a really good spread out fight from them. 5 minutes of a fire giant dance, and it will indeed go the way of Eclipse.
Finally managing to secure the objective, and since they have fire giant, they're taking the runic bomb to 2 in the hands of Hapn. We saw this in game number 1 on Andy for the Sunbreakers, but you gotta be careful. Those runic bombs can do a lot of work, and now that is 3 in the hands of Eclipse, finally managing, after quite a few exchanges, get the upper hand and get the fire giant. Sunbreakers now in the defensive position. They're going to have to play a lot of defense. They've got 1 tower in each lane standing, but it won't be too long of a defense. Primal Fury getting dropped. Eclipse is going to be in the driver's seat of this game now, and they have fire giant around all 5 belts. This could be very dangerous for the Sunbreakers.
Yeah, Sunbreakers really needs to retreat right here and probably just to hold these Phoenixes. I don't think you want to hold any of these towers. This is the point where if you get a 5-man wipe, 25 minutes to be real with you, is when most ranked games are ending right now, in my opinion. It's as long as you're above diamond, probably. I don't know what's going on in the lower ones, but if you're in that area, generally around 25 minutes, if you get a 5-man wipe and there's 1 tower down, that's game. Boom, done. You're walking in, you're killing 1 tower, you're going to that Titan room.
Well, see, here's the formula for lower elo ranked games. It's somebody gets first blooded. Okay. You blame the jungler if you're not the jungler.
Yep.
And then 2 or 3 people possibly sit in fountain, spam ping, and F6 immediately.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense, but at this point, hopefully none of these guys are spamming each other and telling each other to F6. because this score is very close and this game is very good. BeanSoupBob, once again, in that big baby form, beating the ground. Snoozism really eating it right now. eating the basic attacks right now. And also, if I can find your attention to that middle Fenix, which is also on a tick, 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 coming back now because it also was dropped. Not thanks to a big baby, but probably thanks to a basic attack from Storm. Snoozism says, I see a very low little lady in the jungle and says, I'm going to kill you. Blinks in, gets the good old kill. Snoozism still in this fight with the rest of his team. Sunbreakers on the back foot, now on the forward and ready to attack. 5 members ready to push down this thing. Tej is in the air right now, trying to look for a split push possibility, which is what Apollo does in every single season of his life, but instead will turn back around with his little musical harp and go back to bed. That was he just flew out and then flew back into base. What is going on with him? Okay, so we got a 5-man push from Sunbreakers into the middle Fenix. This is going to be a good push. Only about 15 seconds until both the ADCs are back up. You don't want to lose any more members of this team, but instead going down is that Apollo I just sang about, but also going down is Jabber and Snoozism because Colossal Fury is being used in the backline because Terra is currently the target. Double kill coming out from Teddy and a double kill coming out from BeanSoupBob, which will turn this fight right back on top of its head, going the way of Eclipse. Eclipse now has 3 versus 1. Emoticon Daddy, I'm going to call him because I think that's what he said he wanted to change his name to. He wish he would, I think we said Emoticon Parental Figure would be another name for Emoticon. This could be the end of the game if they can get here quick enough. And it looks like they're all rushing right down mid right now. 3 members. You got 20 seconds to do this until Jabber is back up. Is this even possible in your opinion, Lamb?
Emoji Parent is now facing down 3 members of Eclipse. Gonna have to be very careful. Still a Yu Huang though, a lot of safety. Can go up like Mary Poppins and get out, but Hapn going in for an early transformation. The Eclipse going for the end call. Dueling Dragons going for the push. Won't be quite on the mark. Titan dropping even faster. Storm doing a lot of damage. Emoticon does get the kill on the BeanSoupBob, but that will be game number 3.
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of numbers right there. And the one person we always want to take a look at is not the top damage this game. Actually, going for 3rd place in this game. Top place is EmoticonFather, going then BeanSoupBob and Sleepy. I'm not going to ask Lamb any questions this time because we are trying to get out of here. This has been a very long 3-game set. But that being said, Eclipse goes up 2-1. Congrats to Eclipse. Really well done from them. Wards, do you have the ward numbers right here, Casting Lamb?
We have 32 on the Sunbreakers to 36 on Eclipse, and they end up winning the game because of it.
Yep, there you go, Eclipse. If you ward, you win. That's kind of how it goes. But that will be it from us. Thank you very much to JeeringLamb, my chair number 2, and thank you very much to our camera guy, Mr. iNooblet himself. We will see you guys in the next set.
New Year's Day, so now it's a new me. Tell me why I'm so